Here we go. All right, I believe we are live. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear us? I think we're live.
We're live.
Let's see. Yes, we are live. Hello, how's everybody doing out there tonight? Welcome to Season 8, Episode 15 of The Sausage Factory. You know what they say about being late? When you show up late, that just means that everybody gets to see you come in. You know? A wise man once told me that. If you always show up late, so that way everybody sees you come in. So, anywho, I'm your moderator, Pizzell. Joining me tonight, we have got the immortal B-Movie Mike. What's up, Mike? How you doing, bud?
Oh, you went to me first. Hey, man, how's it going? It's all good here down here in sunny Florida, man. Been enjoying the weather. It's beautiful.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. How's Florida doing down there?
Oh, we're hanging in there. You know, is what it is. Worse than some, better than others.
I hear you. Well, good to have you back. This is 2 weeks in a row. I know we've everybody's missed you. We've had a lot of people asking about your whereabouts and how you are and all this and that, and so it's good to have you back. Good to hear that voice, that sexy voice.
It's good to be back. I don't know about that, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, we got to get the ladies back in. They like that voice. I did notice the other day in our analytics that we've gone up like not a full percentage, but like a point something percent female audience. So we've gone up a little bit. I think we can thank some of that to Gibbs, who's our new sex symbol, but you know,
well, nerdy just knows no gender, man. All kinds, takes all kinds, and all kinds are welcome.
There you go. Also with me tonight, speaking of Gibbs, is Gibbs, the obsoletionist. What's up, man? How's it going?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be here.
How you doing?
Val Venus for you. Nice.
How's things going in Georgia?
It's going well. It's creeping all around, but so far so good. We're hanging in there.
Good. Well, good to see you. Also with me from up in Canada, Raiho Magnifico. What's up, Raiho?
Not much, man. Just quarantining. You know, I've had a beer in the fridge before this started. It was like a miracle beer, so nice. Cheers. Pretty happy about that.
Are you running low on beer?
I had a couple of like cans that my old man left when he was here last, and he's got one very specific beer he drinks all the time, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I found one of my beers just before it started, and just in the back of the fridge somewhere. I was like, yes. So I was good either way. Yeah, I'm running low. Got about 3 cans left, so it's all good.
Okay, you just got to conserve. Just conserve them.
Exactly. I had a bit of a. If anybody follows me on Twitter, I bought a great big bag of coffee right before this whole thing went down, and I couldn't find it anywhere in my house. I was 4 days without coffee. I was like an irritable prick. No one wanted to be around me. And then my buddy came by and dropped off some coffee, and my little fella found some K-cups, and he hollowed them out and gave me a little can of coffee and stuff like that. So I've been much better since I got the coffee back in me. But
awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
Life without caffeine, man. Is it worth living?
I don't know. It wasn't pretty. I'll tell you what.
Be rough, man.
Yeah.
Also with me tonight is Christian. What's up, Christian? How you doing, man?
What's going on, fellers? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How's things down in Louisiana?
Man, it's going, man. My job was deemed essential workforce, so I'm just going to work and coming home, man, which really ain't no different, I guess, right? I mean, so I'm living. I'm living, man.
That's good. You've got it better than some. I know a lot of people have been laid off here because of this, and you know.
Yeah, my wife's on unemployment. She works at a T-shirt printing company. I work in forest industry, so my boss called me and he goes, "Hey, Homeland Security said your butt's going to work." I said, "All right." So just kind of going with the flow. We're making it though. I mean, it's been a blessing for me, because if I'm the bread maker, my wife doesn't make a whole lot of money. So if I would have lost my gig, we'd have been in trouble. So I can't complain, man. So we're doing all right. It's really doesn't seem that bad down here. I don't know. Actually, no, Louisiana seems to be growing pretty bad, but I don't know, man. In my town, I go outside and it just seems like it's business as usual, which is a good thing, right? Because it doesn't like depress you, but still, I'm germexing every 5 minutes at work. My hands are about to fall off at any moment because I'm paranoid, right? So
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, my hands are. I wash my hands a million times a day anyway. So I mean, this has made me do it. My hands are destroyed. My hands are destroyed.
yeah.
We're all in the same boat, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for. Well, I won't lift it up. People will think I do bad things with it, but I've got to.
One thing I will say. One thing I will say about being in quarantine. I'm actually in quarantine. I haven't had to wash my hands like crazy because I know it's not in the house. But when I was going to work and all that, like I was like, my hands were coming home rotted every day.
I still do. If I get a package or if I check the mail and I get the mail, I come in, I throw it down, I'm running right to the sink, and
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Big time.
I was gonna say people losing their jobs is horrible, but if you pay attention to what's considered essential, like Walmart's announced that they're hiring thousands and thousands of people. Publix is a local grocery in my town. It's like statewide. They're hiring thousands of people. So try to find businesses that are essential because they are hiring like a lot. It might only be a part-time gig or something, but it's better than nothing, especially if you can't qualify for benefits or something. I mean, if you don't have something, just keep looking because something's out there.
Yeah, I saw Dollar General is hiring 55,000.
Walmart's like 100,000. I think Kroger said they're hiring thousands of people. So, if you have one of those in your area, throw in an app and see what happens. I mean,
yeah, definitely
something coming in.
Are people getting any like kind of social assistance on it or anything like that? Or?
Well, they've done this stimulus package thing. They've approved it. It's supposed to give people most people $1,200, and then more if you have families and children and blah, blah, blah.
The House hasn't approved it yet.
The House hasn't approved
tomorrow.
it yet, but they'll probably approve it tomorrow. It's just once they approve it, how long is it going to take them before they get that money in people's hands?
It's going to be we have the same thing.
And it's not just like $1,200 an adult. I think it's $500 per kid, and they're also they're upping the unemployment insurance so that you get $600 a week instead of because usually unemployment was pretty horrible. It was like 30% of what you used to make was what you got for unemployment. But now it's up. They bumped it up to $600 a week, which will help a lot of people, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And they're giving a bunch of money, like $133 billion to hospitals and doctors and stuff. So, I'm not a big fan of stuff like that, but in this case, people need it. So we need to get that economy restarted as quickly as possible. But until then, we got to keep people moving and keep people afloat. So,
yeah.
Hopefully they get their heads out of their collective butts and get something done. I mean, it'd be nice to see the government do something.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay the Stingray is here with us tonight also. How you doing, Stingray?
Good. Glad to be here, guys.
Yeah. How's everything going down in Mississippi?
So far, so good. Hanging in there.
Good, yeah. What are we drinking tonight?
This is some Kroger brand French roast.
Ah, okay.
Freddy Kroger?
Freddy Kroger.
So I was wondering, since they bumped the tax deadline to July 15th, how has that affected you?
I mean, it's not good. Our state has only extended it to May 15th, so it's like, I can't e-file the state without e-filing the federal, so it's kind of messed up. Basically, either I'm going to have to file an extension on people that don't file before May 15th, or get them to bring their stuff in before.
I imagine that was going to make your job a lot more complicated.
Dude, I've been trying to keep up with this crap. It's like every day something new, and people are calling and asking me. I'm like, they haven't even released it yet. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Hanging in there. Hanging in there. And with me tonight is also Lauren. What's up, Lauren? How you doing, man?
I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. I'm just annoyed by the whole thing. Every single aspect of it. People's reaction, society at large, the media, and I'd rather not talk about it, to be completely honest with you, because I think there's so much talking about it that I'd rather dive into movies and stuff that we actually enjoy. I can't imagine if this is going to last for another month and a half, as some estimates have it, before then I'm going to need to not watch any news at a certain point.
I'm already there.
It's already old, man.
Yeah, I know. I know a
not
lot of
just
people.
Old. It's damaging, man. I mean, anyone who has any kind of seasonal depression or any kind of mental problems at all, this is just as dangerous as the virus at this point. It really is. This kind of overwrought paranoia is going to have a body count of its own. So I would rather spend our time talk about fun shit.
Well, they've actually found a cure to the virus. It's a toilet paper.
Oh, well, that's good.
Clearly.
That explains it.
The more you buy, the less chance you have of.
Every time
I
I
love
go
how
outside,
everyone's just like, fuck trees, man. There's a virus around here. Let's buy all the ass wipe in town.
there was
Hide in
a
our
video.
bunkers.
There was a video going around where a guy did the math on, like, if you buy 3 large packs of toilet paper, you'd have to shit like 182 times a day to be able to use all that toilet paper. It's just ridiculous how people react to stuff like that. But it's the fear mongering, like Lauren was talking about. It's just every day you turn on the news, no matter what channel it is, there's always, they're just amplifying this to just an insane level. And people with anxieties and different disorders, it's really bad for them.
Yeah.
Even people that don't. Like, I don't have any kind of depression.
That just pisses me off.
Yeah, well, for me though, like at first, like I was one day last week where like I was watching the stream, catching the news, trying to work, and like I had to like just go lay down for an hour. Like I was overwrought. Like it's just like, and now I'm at the point where I get caught up on what's going on in my province really quickly, just the numbers, what's happening, like like quick news, and that's it. And then I just avoid everything else because it's just. I mean, it is absolutely damaging. I'm like.
Oh, there's so many people I know they've just sworn off social media. And Facebook is horrible. Facebook is horrible.
Yeah, I don't go on Facebook really anyway, but like Twitter's got a lot of it. But I just kind of, for some reason with Twitter, I see it and it's gone. Like I don't even bother muting stuff. I just scroll past it, kind of a thing. So I don't really have trouble there.
Yeah.
I just pay attention to local and state news, so I know what's going on in my area, and so just so I know how to go about my day. But other than that, that's it.
Well, let's see what's going on out in the chat. Let's give some shout outs here. See who all's with us tonight. Movie Man 95, what's up? How you doing? Jess Graham, Steak Sauce, David Espejo, Joe Bob Tar Heel, Borderline 11, our buddy Steak Sauce, Chris Overholt, DJ Donley, the White Trash Jedi is here, Dino Rabbit, Zombie, Joe Reese. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well out there.
And I agree with Lauren, coming on here and talking to you guys about something other than that is very therapeutic, and I think everybody watching would appreciate it too. So, going forward from this point, I'm just not going to bring it up anymore, and we'll just go forward with the rest of the show and talk about some fun shit that we actually like, I mean, the stuff that we used to talk about. Keep it fun, man, because people need a break. They need a distraction from all the noise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, Steak Sauce, you got a double shout out because you're special.
He's a very special person.
He's a special guy. But I know this isn't a good topic, but I think we definitely should mention Stuart Gordon passing away and talk about him for at least briefly. Stuart Gordon, of course, the director of Reanimator, From Beyond, Castle Freak, a lot of good movies. Passed away Tuesday, I believe it was. Guys, any thoughts on Stuart Gordon? Any favorite Stuart Gordon films?
I guess the one thing I liked about all of his movies was his sense of humor. It was like watching a filmmaker that had the same sick, twisted sense of humor that I do, and I appreciated that. I mean, Reanimator, when I first saw it, was a comedy to me. I mean, it was just like, first of all, I couldn't believe somebody made a movie like that. I was just like, this is amazing. You know, it's like, as much as I like The Toxic Avenger, I think Reanimator is a higher quality, but still just as twisted tale.
Mm.
And the acting in it, you know, it was just great. It's a classic to me. I love Reanimator, all the Reanimator films, and beyond, from Beyond, and all that stuff is just, as much as I like some of Peter Jackson's early works, I think Stuart Gordon was the best at doing that kind of stuff.
Stuart Gordon did a good job of, like you said, Peter Jackson. It's super frenetic. Like everything's kind of all over the place. He had a smoother way of doing it, but it's like you said, Reanimator's my favorite. And first time I saw it, same thing. I was like, this is like the perfect blend of comedy and ridiculousness and horror and effects and everything. It was just kind of this really nice package. And so I've always appreciated that movie for that, and all his movies. I haven't watched much. He did Full Moon stuff that I haven't seen, I think, but.
I think that when you look at Stuart Gordon, he was a guy who brought Lovecraft over the line into the mainstream. Because while in the 60s there had been paperbacks which brought Lovecraft to the college-age kids on campus, and it had made it available for the first time in a mass market setting, there hadn't been that breakthrough multimedia experience that Edgar Allan Poe had enjoyed and Shirley Jackson had enjoyed. So even though there had been adaptations, they were always hidden in the past. They didn't scream based on H.P. Lovecraft. And Gordon somehow got a film made that did feature Lovecraft's name above the title. And he made a film that, while I don't think the first film, Reanimator, I don't think is terribly, it's not very accurate to the original stories that it's based on. But the fact is, he went against the grain by just putting his personal love of the cosmic horror and the pulp horror of the 20s and 30s on the screens in the 80s. That doesn't immediately make sense, but it worked, and it ushered in a new love of Lovecraft for a lot of people. Dagon is my favorite of his films because it's the most accurate to the source material, even though it should be titled Shadow over Innsmouth. But he really managed to bring another titan of the horror genre into a spotlight. And I'm not sure that we would have Lovecraft, as much of a household name without Stuart Gordon. I really don't think we would.
It's true.
So that's just, to me personally, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else favorite Stuart Gordon films? Stingray? You're muted, Stingray. There you go. That's all right.
Yeah, I'll go with From Beyond is my favorite. I like a lot of his stuff. Dolls I like a lot too. What episodes of what is it, that show? Drew on a blank. Masters of Horror did he direct?
I'm not sure.
Did he do Dreams of a Witch's House? Dreams in a Witch's House?
Dreams of the Witch House based on Lovecraft, and Black Cat based on Edgar Allan Poe. And then he did an episode which I don't know the name of Fear Itself.
Yeah, I think that may be my favorite episode of Masters of Horror is the Dream of a Witch's House. Sucks, man. I was fortunate enough to meet him, years ago. I got to meet him and Jeffrey Combs together. And super nice guy, They both were. But you guys are dropping like flies, man.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I saw, oh gosh, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Long, white-hair guy, directed a bunch of Stephen King. Mick Garris. I saw a picture he posted of like some kind of Masters of Horror dinner that they did. And it was like, oh, there's Toby Hooper, he's gone. Oh, there's Stuart Gordon, he's gone. Oh, there's Larry Cohen, he's gone. There's Wes Craven, he's gone. You know what I mean?
As long as we have Eli Roth, we're good.
Thank God. Yeah. Thank God Eli Roth
is keeping us alive. Yeah.
Thank God. Master of Horror, Eli Roth. Don't forget.
Don't
I'm
forget.
sorry, I forgot that.
You got
my
that
apologies.
title very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah, he earned it. He earned it.
Yeah.
That's
he
funny.
did, yeah.
But yeah, it was
Was
kind
I
he-
of.
actually watched.
It was. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bro.
Oh, I was gonna say I actually watched. I think it's called The House with a Clock on Its Walls
Yes.
the other day, and I actually liked it. And
Yeah,
Eli Roth directed it. I was shocked. I really liked it. I'll probably watch it again at Halloween. It's such a Halloween movie. But I think even as I was watching, I was like, my kids are a little too young for it, but when they're a little older, like they're gonna really dig that movie. And Jack Black was actually really good in it. Like he's usually really hammy, but this character's hammy, and he's kind of just like a nice blend. And anyway, I was shocked when I saw that Eli Roth come up as director. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I really like the flick. So
Was Stuart Gordon ill? I mean, do we know what he died of? I couldn't figure it out.
I didn't. The Variety article I read didn't specify any cause of death.
Natural causes.
I don't know. But anybody else thoughts on Stuart Gordon or favorite Stuart Gordon movies?
Yeah, just for what it's worth, I mean, Reanimator has to be one of my favorites because it's the only movie to me that has. It feels like it's related in a sense to Return of the Living Dead in terms of mixing comedy and horror perfectly for me. Reanimator feels so punk rock to me. I love that movie so much. And I love Castle Freak a lot, but Reanimator has to be my favorite. And my wife actually was like, Christian, did you know he wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Which we love Rick Moranis. And I was like, wow, he wrote that? She's like, yeah, I'm reading it right now. He wrote the movie. I was like, that's incredible. So it's a shame that I'm learning. I'm guilty of this a lot of times. I think a lot of people are. I appreciate this guy a million times more now that he's passed than when he was alive, which seems to be the case for a lot of people and artists and stuff in general. And I got to make sure I don't let that happen as often. But it's a shame. It really is a shame. I want to see Dagon now. Haven't seen that yet, but
It's out there.
Man.
It
It really sucks.
I was actually like the day, like literally the night before. I guess it may have happened in the night. I don't know. I was just about to queue up Castle Freak, and I was like, do I watch Reanimator or do I watch Castle Freak? I was literally tossing up the two movies. I didn't end up watching anything, and then I woke up the next morning. He was passed. I was like, that's creepy. But it is one of those things where you don't know what you got till it's gone. Like I rarely think about Stuart Gordon movies. I'll be honest. But I do love Reanimator, and all of a sudden here I am thinking about them, and then the next morning I found out he's passed. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm planning on rewatching Castle Freak. It's been a very long time since I saw that last, but I remember really liking it. So, but yeah, we've lost another master of horror, and it sucks. But literally, like that picture just totally depressed me because it was like here's like literally who was left. Like Garris was left in the picture, of course. John Carpenter was left in the picture. John Landis was left in the picture. I think that was it. Everybody else is gone.
Can I ask like a question that's really like kind of pessimistic? Why is John Landis a master of horror if he did one horror movie?
He's done other horror movies. But I mean he's
done one big hit, right? Like one big hit.
One big hit horror movie. Yeah.
Why is he in a table?
Didn't he like kind of like have a lot to do with Masters of Horror actually happening? Like he's kind of like a background guy, right?
I know Mick Garris was the
Garris,
boy. Yeah, Mick Garris is like he's like the guy that just makes every party happen. It seems like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Piz, I haven't dove into a lot of John Landis, but I'm just like, come on, like, God bless him. He made a werewolf huge movie, but I don't know. Like he's sitting next to John Carpenter. I don't know.
He did stand out in that picture. Like I saw the picture, I was like, wow. But
to me, Landis has always been more of a comedy director.
Yeah.
When I think of him, I think more of comedies than I do horror. So I understand.
But didn't you? What he did? Animal House? Who did Animal House?
He did Animal House.
I mean, what the hell? I
did
don't know.
Blues Brothers.
He did Blues Brothers. He did Coming to America.
I like Blues Brothers a lot.
I guess he just gets a pass.
Just gets a pass. Yeah.
I mean, American Werewolf in London is a staple. I mean, I'm not denying that, but I mean, I don't know. I just find that a little odd.
I like Innocent Blood too.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, he never
I like
really.
Andy Pilat, yes, but the movie's really not that great.
No, well, I like the movie. Okay.
But she's like cinematic gold for that whole movie. Like you could watch her just do anything in that movie.
And I have.
Yeah, I mean, Landis's career really never rebounded after the Twilight Zone movie incident. Really, he did other things, but I mean, nobody really.
Who the hell wants to work for him after that?
Listen, he's never going to get a job as an air traffic controller. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Or at a daycare.
Statute of limitations is up on that joke, but it's good. That's good.
No, statutes of limitations will never be up on John
That's
Landis,
true.
as far as I'm concerned.
If you and not to dig on Landis here, but if you read up about that case, the way Landis handled that and everything about it afterwards is pretty bad on his part.
It's greasy, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Did you guys like any of those Masters of Horrors? Because I watched all of them. Did y'all like any of them? I actually liked the John Carpenter one about abortion. That one with Ron Perlman. That one was intense.
I didn't see that. I saw the other one. I saw Cigarette Burns. I liked it.
Dude, check that one out. I forgot what it was called. Pro Life, I think is what it's
It
called.
was called Pro Life.
Good God, man. You need to watch that one.
I saw the two that Toby Hooper did. I liked one of them. I don't remember the other one that well.
Yeah.
And I saw
I watched a whack of them. I remember there was one with Survivalist that had Ethan Embry, I think, in it. It's like, what was that one?
Is that the Coscarelli piece?
Yeah, is that the one where they ended up?
Incident on and off a mountain. It's based on a
Oh,
a short story by the Happen Leonard guy. I can't think of his name at the moment.
That's the Don Coscarelli one, right?
Yeah. And it had like kind of like a monster guy in it, like Face or something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't his name or something? Yeah. I remember digging that one. I remember when they came out. I watched all of them, and I can't even. I'm like struggling to remember them right now.
I love them, man.
Yeah, I remember Pelts. I have Pelts on DVD.
Is that George Wendt is in that one? Norm?
I can't remember.
I've not
It's been
seen.
a few
I know
moons.
Takashi Miike did one, and Argento did one. I've not seen them all though. I've just seen a few.
I was like a kid in a candy store waiting for that episode to air, man. Like I got Showtime for that.
Which one? Which one?
For all of them.
Oh, okay.
Like for every episode,
I think I had to wait for them to hit DVD up here, but didn't they have that? Didn't they have like a sweet DVD set with like a skull?
Yeah,
Like
something
the
like
disc
that.
with the skull or something. Like, yeah, I remember that was like a big collector's item at the time. I couldn't get it again. I had to rent the DVD.
Eventually they did. At first they wanted you to buy them in those 2-episode single discs.
That's what I rented, the two set. I just would rent them one after the other kind of thing because I couldn't get my hands on them. And then they came up with the cool skull.
And I'm sorry, it was Joe R. Lansdale who wrote the short story that incident on and off Mountain Road is based on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, I forgot. Don Coscarelli was in that picture with all of them too, and he's still around. Thank goodness.
I've got to be nervous because at this point, isn't like John Carpenter basically the Keith Richards of horror directors? I mean,
Well,
he's
he
been chain
certainly
smoking
looked
for
like
like
it, yeah.
60 years and doing drugs and.
You know what though? He got off the
drinking.
snakes, and like we were talking about, I think another week. He looks way better. He looks way healthier. But he's like totally could not care less about making horror movies. It's just he's in Europe, like playing concerts and like living his life. I don't know.
Smoking weed and playing video
Yeah.
games.
Goddamn right, yeah.
You're chilling.
But yeah, R.I.P. Stuart Gordon. Let's talk about how well it goes back into the virus, but let's talk about how all of these movies are now being postponed and canceled, and some of them are. The rumors are that some of them are going to go like straight to on demand, and we recently had The Invisible Man and Hunt go to on demand. The Hunt on its second weekend of release.
You can rent it for $20.
You can rent it for $20. Yes. So yeah, is this going to be the death knell for cinemas?
Not helping.
Well, the phasing out of physical media, I expected to be, in full effect around this time. We talked about it, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and I figured by 2020, physical media would be dwindling down to collectors only, and it's pretty much getting to that point where your average person just pops it up and rents it on the computer and watches it, and they're done with it. As far as the theater aspect goes, I think it's going to go more and more. Once this thing finally burns itself out, the theaters that have the recliners and the beer and the special, apparatus around you while you're watching the movie, they'll probably be okay. And I've got a drive-in theater about 3 miles from me that even though they can't get new movies, they're showing retro movies. So like this week, it's Jurassic Park and Jaws. Right? It was E.T. and Back to the Future last week. They're having Breakfast Club and Uncle Buck. I mean, so they're just rolling with it, you know. And since they're driving, they meet the distancing requirements, and they just make sure they take people into the snack bar in small groups, and you know, and they're thriving. I mean, they're packed every night.
This could mean the rebirth of the drive-in.
Exactly.
It could absolutely.
I mean, people are rediscovering the drive-in, and I think that's great. I mean,
there was one theater in the States that was like, "What do we do?" And they just started selling popcorn. So they're just making popcorn and selling it like at the door or something like that. Like that's how they're keeping like people paid, like employees and stuff like that. And it's kind of like picked up like a viral thing, right? So it's like working out for them. But
I'm assuming that theaters in all of your all's areas are pretty much shut down. Okay,
the malls are shut down.
Oh yeah,
everything. Yeah.
CDC shut everything down. Shut down the gyms.
Yep.
Okay. I actually think I like this release model. I think this is something that they should do from now on. Give a movie its opening weekend just in theaters, because that's when most movies make their most money anyway. And then on the second weekend, start rolling that sucker out onto on demand. You know, charge $20 for it, or if it's a bigger, you know, if it's like a big, Avengers type movie, charge $30 for it.
The only thing that really hurts that model is that if a film is not rolling out worldwide on day and date, same day, if in the second week it's available digitally, then the counterfeiting in other nations is going to destroy any profitability on the foreign markets. So that's going to prevent that from happening directly. I don't think theaters are going away, but I think that you're right. I think there will be a much shorter window with a premium price tag for home viewing after most of the worldwide markets are taken care of. But it's not going to be exactly like Invisible Man or Hunt. It really can't be.
I agree. I think this is going to be a great opportunity to test markets. Like they're looking at this as an opportunity, right? You got people locked in their homes.
Oh yeah,
start throwing some different price tags out.
You know this was a big tester.
Yeah, big Trolls. I saw the commercial the other night. Like they're rolling Trolls out day and date. The new Trolls movie, whatever that, I can't remember what it's called, but they're going to test the markets and test the waters with this one. I'm surprised the prices are as low as you just mentioned. $20 for the Hunt. Like, yeah. I kind of like maybe the Hunt's not a good representation, like you said, like something like an Avengers. I thought it would be more like in the $50 market. The idea is you get a couple of people together, kind of like a fight, like you get the fights or whatever, right? Like, you know, you get a couple of people together and you chip in and get some food or whatever, and you throw it on, kind of thing. I thought that it would be higher priced, but you might see that still, I guess.
Yeah. I got a question. Are you renting the movie for $20?
You're renting it, yes.
Explain to me why that's good. That's so much money. What am I missing about that?
Well, but I mean, if you look at it, $20 to stay home and watch a movie instead of, you know, when you go to the theater, you're spending money on gas to go to the theater. If you've got kids, you're either taking your kids with you, and they're going to want food from the concession stand. Okay. You're going to buy food from the concession stand. If you got a date with you, you're going to buy them food from the concession stand.
That's like $50 or $60 right there.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean,
even if you take out the food and you think
I don't roll like that. I eat before I go. Me and my wife are pretty frugal about that kind of stuff. So it's always just tickets for me. So I guess to me, it's flabbergasting. $50 for a superhero movie to watch at the house.
I'm expecting that they would try that. Like, I assumed they would give it a shot.
My question is this. If something can be streamed at the house, how much does pirating go into effect? Like, I'm sure somewhere out there, somebody watched The Hunt or whatever for free, multiple people.
The moment that The Hunt went VOD, somebody rented it, watched it, they recorded it however they did, and it was online like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pirating will be a huge.
It's going to be permanent. I think theaters will go back. I don't know, but what do I know? You know, maybe I don't know.
I think the business will have changed permanently, but I just don't think that the theaters aren't closing. That's not happening. But I think the model is going to change, and you might see smaller films get their weekends faster because the screens will be available. You might see theater chains start to go to 4 and 6 screen theaters rather than 12 and 15 as they open. They might during remodels they might tear down some walls and make larger screens and get rid of the square footage from multiple screens. There's going to be repercussions, but I don't see it closing. However, I think home media home physical media, this is going to accelerate the already started decline hugely.
Rambo made a good point. How about a 1 month window? Movie gets 1 month in the theater, and
Sounds
then
good.
bam, VOD.
Well, I have a 7-screen theater in my area. It's not a far drive for me to go to really big theaters in like the city and stuff like that. But right in my town, I have a 7-screen theater, and I don't get any of the right now. The theaters they just want to go with the safe game. Like Bad Boys played forever.
Yeah.
Star Wars played forever. Like there was 6 movies in that house that played for 3 months, and I couldn't see anything good. I hear about all these movies coming out, and you guys are going to see them. And there's a couple of horror movies that I want to see this year that just didn't hit here. If it came out on streaming within a month, that would be cool with me because it's and it's not that I wouldn't go to the theater if I could. It's just really difficult for me to drive all the way into town. It adds a couple hours to go and see a movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that model, that 1 month model for me, that would be fantastic. Or stop playing it safe and playing the same damn movies
Right.
all the time. But they're the ones that make money.
I mean, I think the chain theaters, the Cinemarks and the Regals, they're going to be fine. Like the small theaters, the Ma and Pa theaters. Like I've got a Ma and Pa theater near me, and if they're going, couple weeks without any revenue coming in, I mean that's going to be devastating. So I mean, smaller theaters, Ma and Pa theaters, could definitely just destroy them.
I wish I still had mom and pop theaters to worry about.
They're already drying up, but
we had one theater that was kind of like the mom and pop theater, and when I lived in the city, and it was still owned by a chain. They just covered it up, and they would play different movies and stuff like that, and that closed even. So it's all chain around here. That's all we got. We got bought up by Regal actually, so I'm kind of hoping that Regal subscription thing comes through.
Very helpful now.
Yeah, not right now, but
there was a theater in the town where I lived. They were playing Good and the Bad, the Ugly for a while, and then it switched over to Uncut Gems. And now, unfortunately, you drive by the marquee and it says COVID-19 and the social distancer. I appreciate the humor. But, it's sad.
I could have done a little better than that, honestly.
Yeah. But I it's the attempt, I appreciate the attempt.
Trying to find some levity.
Days or Dawn of the Dead or something.
So the thing that we're not discussing here about theaters too is you got to realize once this lifts and people can go back out, they are going to be rushing towards entertainment. There's going to be a period whereas a few films that probably don't deserve as good a box office are going to get it because people are going to be looking for things to do. There's going to be a rush towards that. So if there's a title out there that a distributor can position just right, which is hard to tell right now, but there might be a big windfall at the end of this.
Yeah.
They're toying with the Wonder Woman 1984 or Wonder Woman 84, whatever it is, the sequel. They don't know whether to do the video on demand thing with that or to hold it back to try to prepare for what he's talking about. Have that be a movie available, right at the start when they reopen. That could have a huge weekend.
Yeah, it'll be all about timing, but watch it be some awful freaking movie that just the luck of the draw and it becomes $1 billion. It breaks every box office record.
Yeah, just landed at the right time and had the right marketing or something.
Exactly. The rumor was that Disney was gonna put the Black Widow movies directly onto Disney Plus. I don't know if that's been confirmed as just a rumor or if that's something that they'll really consider.
Yeah, they're probably thinking people are at home, they're considering streaming. You put that out there and they'll buy a month, or whatever. I don't know if they have a free month or whatever, so I don't know if that works. But they put a few, they put Frozen 2 out already. I mean, that seems not a big deal to us, but I have kids, they're nuts about Frozen. That came up pretty quick onto that, and
that was the other one. The coronavirus was releasing.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, yeah, we're closing all of our theme parks, but here's Frozen 2." And there was another movie though that hit streaming really quick. Like that. Anyway, it's an option, right? for a lot of them. And I don't know how good Wonder Woman 1984 is. That might be telling about how good the movie is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, tried to hold it back, hoping that
the
first weekend
Bond,
of
they're
box
not putting it
office,
out
yeah.
until exactly. They're not gonna put that out until people are gonna be in butts and seats, right? They're gonna
That's
wait
right.
till November or whatever. But like if they're thinking about putting Wonder Woman out, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe it isn't that great.
But I have to side with Christian a little bit. $50 to rent a movie. I mean, for me, by myself, to watch a movie, I cannot justify $50 to rent a movie.
I'm not saying I want to pay that. I just
It's
expect
just too much
Even
money, man.
$20,
Yeah, I
even
don't-
$20 to me.
Just too much
I
money.
mean, I'm renting movies on Amazon and various other places for $2.99, $3.99, $4.99.
Right.
That's like what I'm comfortable with. You start tacking that up to $19.99, I'm purchasing the damn thing or I'm not watching it. You know,
I hear
unless
ya.
I download it for good, I'm not paying that price just for
Well,
me to
I
watch
don't-
it by myself.
For $50, I mean, it would have to be like one of the big, you know, an Avengers style summer blockbuster, you know, event movie. And even then, I mean, $50 sounds like a lot. I would think $40 maybe, but who knows? I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
we're
remember I'm in Canada.
exactly, yeah.
$20 to you, $60 for me.
If we're still stuck in 2 months, I mean, those $2.99 rentals on Amazon are going to be $20.99 because they're going to be like, you're stuck, so we're going to screw you. You know what I mean? You want entertainment, you're going to pay for it.
Being
Yeah,
a
that's
frugal,
true.
frugal person, you know, and somebody that doesn't like to waste money unnecessarily. There's not many collector's editions I would pay $50 for physical media. Maybe a few here and there. Maybe multi-film sets,
Yeah, like a box set.
like the Friday the 13th box set. I'd pay $75, $80 for that, right? Or, you know, something like that. But just for one movie, even if it were the best edition that's ever been released for a single film, $50, man, that's a lot of money to me. Because, you know, I think about things, you know, saving money is a very important thing that I think, you know, some people need to think about.
Well,
And $50 is a lot of money.
well, and they may be like, hey, wait a minute, they just got that COVID check, $20.
Yeah.
You know, everything $20. So I don't know. Gibbs, how much you paying to go to stream the next big blockbuster movie at home?
Well, I mean, I'd be willing to pay $30, $40 because, I mean, I look at it, we're talking about competing with the theater, not competing with rental on down the line. I mean, you're paying more when you see a movie early, and I hate going out to the theater. And by the time you hit the Dollar Tree and, you know, load up on candy to smuggle into the theater and get in there, I mean, I'm out $50 at least. So, yeah, like I said, I see it more as competition of the theater, comparing the price to the theater, not necessarily to the home rental deal.
Right.
Just price comparative, because I can wait. There's a lot of movies that are released at theater. I wait for Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're gonna pop it out day one rental $50, I'll wait till it's $2.99.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't have
Yeah.
to see something that bad.
So you're not the market they're going for because you were going to wait anyway. So.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the people that are the market they're going for, because that's a lot of money.
Well,
you're wasting.
I mean, if they're going to the theater and spending that kind of money, what's the difference?
Well, there's a big difference because you're going out and having an experience with a group of
Yeah.
people.
Right.
Some
On a
theaters, you know,
gigantic
they're-
screen with
on a gigantic
extremely nice
screen
speakers.
with,
Well,
with the
then,
sound
I mean,
system you could never
yeah.
fit in your house.
Okay.
You know, I remember going to see like the Friday the 13th movies in the theater where everybody was laughing and joking and jumping and yelling, and it was an experience that you can't have at home.
Okay.
You
I
know,
don't
so
disagree
yeah,
with
to pay $50 to go out for something like that, that's like going to a rock concert. You know, that's a once in a lifetime experience with a group of people. But to watch the video of the rock concert at home for the same price, no, I'm not paying that.
Well, you got cooler theaters in your area.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've maybe had like one or two movie theater experiences like that, but I don't think theater movie going people today aren't like that. They're just like, oh, this movie 5 minutes into this movie, it's too slow. What's going on Tinder? What's going on TikTok? You know what I mean? Let me call up my best friend. Hey, what are you doing? I'm watching this crappy movie. Yeah, okay.
I used to think we used to have those experiences for like $2 back in the 80s. You know, $2-3 for a first run movie.
Yeah,
And now
I'm
people
waiting.
are used to paying $18 a head to see it.
I'm waiting
at 7
for
o'clock at night.
I'm waiting for somebody to pull out a laptop in front of me and start playing Minecraft in the theater. Like, oh, this movie's boring after 10 minutes. Let's get on Minecraft, play on their laptop in front of me.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, jeez. See, I don't know. Interesting where we're at with
And hey,
home entertainment.
Whatever floats your boat, you know what I mean? That's great. Whatever experience you're willing to pay for, it's your money, right? So, it's not going to bother me if people want to pay $50 to rent a movie. I'm not going to do it, but we're just different people. It's all good.
Yeah,
they've been doing like quick release VOD sometimes, like on Vudu. Like if something's still in the theater, you can rent it on Vudu, and it's kind of expensive. Sometimes $14.99, and I don't even pay that. So,
Right.
We were getting for a while, and it kind of stopped, and I was kind of wondering where it was going to go. We were getting like certain movies that might have a smaller release. We would get them kind of quickly, and it would only be $2 more, so it'd be like $7.99. Like Mandy, I remember Mandy came out pretty quick to the VOD for like $7.99 kind of a thing, like because it only had a smaller release, and I thought that's pretty bad. Like I can eat that. Do you know what I mean? Like $8 to see that movie or whatever. I didn't get to it at the time, but like that would be a cool release thing. Like keep it around that $10 mark and have it out really quick. And
yeah, I think anything over $10 is too rich for me.
Yeah, that's too.
Oh yeah.
Well, since we've had, this extra time on our hands, many of us, how have you guys been passing the time? Have you guys been watching any movies, good, bad, or indifferent? Are you?
Oh boy, I watched a real winner.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm a fan of Dolph Lundgren. I can't help it. So you have Dolph Lundgren as a demon killer. I'm in.
Okay.
I know what to expect, but I'm in. It's a cheap shot on video. It was called Don't Kill It from like 2017. Had to watch it. Some CGI in it, of course. Just cheesy. He's a demon hunter. Dolph Lundgren, action, comedy, demons. I mean, it is what it sounds like. It's cheesy. I enjoyed it for what it was. There was some decent cinematography and some lighting choices that I thought were creative, and overall I enjoyed it. I can't really recommend it. I mean, because most people would listen to that description and be like, that's not for me. Then it's probably not for you. But I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it. He was the lead, and then the female lead was the actress that played Linda in the Rob Zombie Halloween remake.
Oh, okay.
Catherine, or what, I can't remember her. Christina
Klebe.
Klebe.
Yeah.
Klebe. Pronounce it how you wish. Yeah, and they were both good in what they did. I mean, the film delivers on what the premise promises. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was silly. It was goofy. Todd Farmer has a cameo in it. And I don't know. It was a decent time waster. And if you find yourself in a situation where you have time to waste, it's free on Amazon Prime if you have Prime. Yeah. There's worse ways to spend an hour and 23 minutes, I think it was. Yeah.
Mike, is Dolph Lundgren still your Punisher?
But, you want to see, like, I don't know, how old is Dolph now? 60-some? But he's very self-depreciating, and he plays the cranky old guy pretty well. And, I don't know, I enjoyed it for what it was. Other than that, I've been watching a lot of, TV shows and stuff I like. And, I actually started watching a little bit of TV, which I don't normally do, but now that I have cable again, just because it's cheaper to have the internet because you bundle it in with the cable. They really like to punish you if you only have cable, if you only have internet. So, what's it? Forensic Files. I love that show, so I've been watching a lot of that.
Man, I haven't watched that show in a while, but I used to absolutely just, if that was on for 6 hours,
yeah,
I was watching for 6 hours.
They started new episodes on Sunday nights. Yeah, so they brought it back. I haven't had a chance to watch any of the new ones, so I don't know if it's the same guy narrating. I'm really hoping it is, because, Forensic Files without that guy's voice, I don't think would ever be the same.
Those shows, the narrators mean so much. What was that one on A&E? Shit. Oh, man. Oh, I'm going to have to look it up. I'll come back to it.
What was that, Jay?
Was it HLN or I forget what channel that's
I know
on.
they've shown some of the reruns on HLN before.
Yeah, that's basically because they have like blocks of forensic files that'll show like 5 or 6 episodes in a row. And then I think it's the same channel that has the new episodes on every Sunday night at like 10 o'clock Eastern.
Cool.
City Confidential. With I think Paul Winfield was the narrator. If you guys remember that guy, like he's in Terminator. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's just got that super smooth voice. I remember I watched that show. Like I was obsessed with it. And then they changed narrator, and I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he might have passed even. That's why they changed it. But those shows, for whatever reason, it's like that voice in your head. Same with like trying to watch Unsolved Mysteries with who was the guy that did
Dennis Farina.
Yeah, Dennis Farina. Yeah, which was really like a clip show. They just took clips from the old shows a lot of the time and just respun it with Farina. But like I could never get into that. I loved In Search Of, and they eventually brought in Mitch Pileggi. Like years later, they tried to do a reboot with him, and I just couldn't take that one either. I missed spot, but
Stacey Keach is actually a really good narrator. He does American Greed, I think it is.
Oh, okay, I can see that for sure.
I saw somebody in the chat had asked about the Second Sight Dawn of the Dead release. It's supposed to, I think the pre-order is supposed to start on the 27th, but it'll probably be on UK time, so you need to keep that in mind.
Gotcha.
But has anybody else seen any good, bad, or indifferent movies in your downtime?
Sure.
Oh, but go ahead, man.
Well, I remember I talked to you guys last time. Popcorn, Street Trash, Tenebrae, Both the Demons, Phenomena, which, man, I loved that movie so much. It was bad to the bone, especially that last act. Loved it. Phenomena, favorite. Love it so much. So I'm gonna have to get Opera next and check that out. I don't know. The heavy metal seemed out of place to me, but I wasn't complaining. Like when they start playing Maiden and Motorhead, I'm like, why is Motorhead in a Lucario? I love Motorhead. It felt out of place, but I still loved it. I don't know, but I loved it. Then I was looking on the artwork on my Blu-ray. I was like, the other side was called, I forgot what it was called, Creepers or something.
Creepers, yeah.
And I was like, huh. And then I did some research and realized they swapped the name for America or something, but it was really nice to see Donald Pleasance. It sounded like it was his actual voice in the movie because he was in Paganini Horror, and his voice was dubbed.
Oh.
And I wanted to cry. It was brutal. It was so brutal.
That's a sin. That's sinful.
It was a sin. And it was an okay movie. It wasn't that great. But Phenomena was my favorite movie I watched in the last 2 weeks. Maybe not over Popcorn, but because I did love Popcorn, but Phenomena was bad to the bone. I loved it so much. I thought it was better than Tenebrae. I really did. I was like, well, it's gonna be hard to beat because I loved Tenebrae. I thought Phenomena was better. I really did.
I like Phenomena. It's not one of my go-to Argento flicks, but I like it.
Man, that pit with the maggots and the bodies, I thought that made Poltergeist look like a Disney movie.
The opening of Phenomena is really strong, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And you said you saw Popcorn, and you really liked Popcorn.
Street Trash was great. My God, I loved Street Trash. And I love Demons, too, because I was expecting to hate it. I was like, well, it doesn't seem like much people like. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I love the little demon kid at the end. That made me laugh. But the music was better in one. I did love hearing Go West. But then again, I'm a massive Cult fan. I love the Cult. So hearing the Cult in 2 was freaking awesome.
Yeah, the Cult. Yeah, I love the Cult too. Yeah, part 2 is fun. I don't like it anywhere as near as I do the first one, but it's fun. And I don't. And the thing that when you mentioned that little demon kid, that reminded me of like the little critter that comes out of him and the sound that it makes. Oh God, it's like nails chalkboard to me.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, yeah.
I watched April Fool's Day today.
No.
That which yeah, looked really good. I liked it. I like the way Amy Steele looks in that movie a lot. I thought she was even more attractive than in part 2. I liked her in April Fool's Day a lot.
I actually didn't watch his review of April Fool's Day
That's
because I knew I would buy it.
That is a sin.
It, but I knew I would buy it. Like I knew I wasn't gonna buy the My Bloody Valentine. I was gonna wait, and then I watched his review and I fucking ordered it right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna watch it because I love that movie. I just knew I'd go buy it.
I wish they could have got the excised third act of the movie. I wish they could have found that footage, but you know,
I can't get it. Like
it
I
probably
assume that it's just not there.
just doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
Does it look good though? It must look good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Is it on par with My Bloody Valentine? Because that movie looks so good.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Dude, I think I like April Fool's Day more than My Bloody Valentine. I really do. I really like April Fool's Day a lot.
I like April Fool's Day a lot too. That movie's like it's I don't know, it just doesn't flow as well for me, but that's just me.
I was never the biggest fan. I saw it in the theater, and I mean, I don't hate it, but
I really like April Fool's Day. I just can't compare the two.
Same here. Anybody else see any watch any movies, good, bad, or indifferent?
Watched Contagion and Outbreak the other day.
like everybody else.
That's like #1 trending on Netflix right now. Isn't that crazy? That's a good movie though. I saw it in the theater when it came out. It was good stuff. Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, Contagion is good. Yeah.
I saw 47 Meters Down, Uncaged, or whatever it's called. And that movie is wild, man. That movie is wild.
I stopped watching it. I made it through about 15 minutes.
It gets so crazy around the end, though.
The last 6 minutes are decent. The rest of the movie is sea salt.
Oh yeah, it's stupid and cheesy, but I mean it's some crazy shit going on, man. What'd you think, Christian? You saw it, didn't you?
I love mindless crap entertainment. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It does not take much to impress me, and I'm very proud of that. So I love shitty shark movies. I do. I love shitty shark movies.
Yeah.
I like Uncaged better than the first one.
I did too. I mean, it makes no sense. It's very unbelievable. The first one is kind of believable. I mean, a little bit, I guess. This one's just batshit crazy. Like the sharks are blind. They're like this simple thing. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it.
It was like, don't breathe, except it was sharks.
Oh shit! Oh man.
We're not talking 5-headed shark attack, stupid though.
And then his daughter's in it.
Oh no, it's dumber than that.
His
Oh,
daughter.
it's dumber than 5-headed shark attack.
Stallone's daughter's in it. Hey, yo, just do the movie, it's a shark movie. They'll watch it,
It's a movie that literally there's a character who says, "Oh, but that's all the way on the other side of the temple," and in the next scene, the character just traipses through a room and he's there. I mean, there's just it's unbelievably bad.
They pulled that shit on that Jurassic World movie too, though. That movie drove me nuts. They're on this island, and like a dude will be on like one side of the island, and the next scene he's on the other side of the island. I was like, what the fuck's going on in this movie? Anyway.
I love Christian. I love really bad shark movies too. But if you're talking about something like The Last Shark, I'm with you because it knows what it is. Like this thing actually thought it was gonna like actually entertain someone.
For me though, I love it when a movie acts like it's supposed to be good and it's not. To me, that's even funnier. Like it really is to me. Like this movie's supposed to be good. They really wanted it to be good, and it's ridiculous. That's even funnier for me.
One of my favorite shitty shark films would probably be was it Megalodon Shark Attack 3?
Oh, yeah. I love those.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilariously bad.
Like I watched it with my kids, and they loved it. And then we go on Amazon, and you can click the people also watched button. And just watch like 100 of those shitty shark trailers in a row. There's one, man. It's like bees that like sting people, but when they sting them, they turn into zombies. I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. We gotta watch that.
Does anybody know if there's any found
That's called
footage shark
Candyman.
movies?
Candyman.
Yeah, that'll be the Candyman reboot coming out.
That is the Candyman reboot.
Yeah.
That
that
is
sounds
literally
great.
it. For one
That
guy.
sounds
Anyway.
great.
I love Jaws 5. Did you guys know there was a Jaws 5? Unofficial Jaws 5.
The unofficial Jaws.
It's Cruel Jaws. It's the last
Cruel
Jaws.
Jaws. Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. It's great
So
stuff.
I need to add that to the list. My shark list.
You might have to search a little bit harder to find it legally.
Yeah, it was pretty much.
Oh,
It was
God.
banned. It was banned in the U.S.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah.
Those
What is
silly
it?
versus movies, like the new one is Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf.
Oh God.
That's got to be just amazingly bad.
Oh.
You see the writer's room on this shit? They're cheap and huge blunt. Like, all right, bro.
Bags of weed everywhere.
All right, bro.
Oh, Piz, I forgot to mention I watched Skinner too. I got
Oh.
Skinner and I watched that, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
I like Ted Raimi. I like Ted more than Sam. That may be weird. I just like seeing Ted randomly in movies all the time,
Your Ted head.
and seeing him, star in a film like that, I thought was pretty cool. Yeah.
Gibbs, have you seen any movies or?
I watched the last showing the other day. That was this movie I got at the Dollar Tree.
That sounds like a winner.
Well, it's a 2015 British indie film, and it's not really a true horror film. It's more of a thriller. But it stars at Finn Jones. He was he played Iron Fist in the Netflix show. It's good. It's about an hour and 25 minutes, and it kind of holds your interest. It's a little slow, but I enjoyed it. It's actually the movie I was trying to put together a video on last night, and I just couldn't find enough to say about it, so I just gave up. I need some coaching on that kind of thing from you guys.
What about gaming? You spending your time doing any gaming?
Not as much as I'd like with everything going on. I'm still working, by the way. I've been trying to fire up some Streets of Rage because they just put Part 4 on pre-order a couple of days ago, and I put in my pre-order, so I've been kind of going back and playing some of the old ones on that, beating some people up.
The new one looks good.
Yes, it does.
Are you excited?
Oh yeah, like I said, I ordered the classic edition with the Genesis clamshell and the Switch. I got that one on order. Yeah, I can't wait to try it out.
Well, speaking of bad shark movies, there's the Maneater game that's coming out in a couple of months. I'm looking forward to that. It's been described as GTA 5, but instead of but you're a shark. It's open world. You're just swimming around as a shark, eating whatever you want. If you hang around in an area too long and eat too many people, then they'll send like quints after you to kill you. And
Take my money.
yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds
I know, right?
it
Take
sounds
all the money.
it sounds really good. It sounds really good. So I'm definitely going to be getting that.
Sweet.
What about you, Lauren? You been out to see anything good?
Out to see anything good?
Or well, no, not out.
Um,
That was the wrong word to say.
Yeah, I feel like I have to find that movie theater speakeasy where you have to go through that hidden door in the back so the cops don't know. But I've been spending my time splitting between Indonesian horror and 1930s off Hollywood productions. So, I mean, although I've done some Universal in there too. So, Indonesian side, I watched a movie called U Ninu Bobo. Let's try that again. U Nina Babu. Which is it's a horror movie about a haunting. It's very typical. It has a nursery rhyme as the title of the film. It didn't work for me at all. It was just pretty boring. But then I finally was able to get Rasuk with subtitles, and that thing completely lived up to what I wanted it to be. It's an Indonesian version of Evil Dead, basically. Although it decides to do something emotional with the idea, which is really cool. Because you could just do the possession gore film thing again in the cabin in the woods, and that would probably be fine because it's a different part of the world, or even call it a homage. But this tried to do something different with it. I really enjoyed it. Might be a little overlong, but I didn't care because when I'm liking a film, I don't really worry about living in that world a little bit longer. For the old stuff, I revisited one of my favorites of the 30s, The Most Dangerous Game with Fay Wray, who looks as good in it as any woman has ever looked in any film. And is actually a good actress. so that's kind of different than where we're at today too. Night of Terror from 33, the Lugosi vehicle, which if you haven't seen it, it is just a straight up slasher film. Is the opening shot of that film is clearly the inspiration for the axe attacks at the Lover's Lane in Night of the Creeps. They are exactly the same sequence. And then The Black Cat with Lugosi and Karloff in 34. That was a Universal release. And that actually was off of the first volume of Scream Factory's Universal Horror Collection, and they really, really, really cleaned that movie up without losing definition. So they didn't use a ton of software; they just properly restored the film. So I really appreciated that.
Cool. Anybody else? Raiho?
I've been playing. There's a lot of chat going on about video games right now. I've been playing the Resident Evil games. I played an RE2 remake a little bit. I was playing the Resident Evil 3 remake demo. I downloaded that on PC the other day. That game looks awesome. And I played through the demo a couple times. It's fun. I haven't really watched a lot that I can think of. Like I watched the House of the Clock, the Walls, which we already talked about. Yeah, it's been pretty dry in that department for sure.
Anybody else drop the 20 and watch Stream the Hunt? No?
Didn't even know you could till right now.
that poor movie got screwed over like twice.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the original trailers. I was interested, and from your review, I'm glad that it is what I was hoping it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely interested in watching it at some point. I'll get around to it, but
it's really
I was
solid.
all set to go see it when it originally came out, and then it didn't know, and then this stuff happens, and of course, So it's unfortunate it got screwed twice, but I'm glad it's everything I was hoping it would be. It sounds like.
And maybe this, video on demand thing's probably good for it. I mean, are they still tracking the box office for movies, even though there's nothing playing in the theaters? I didn't even think about that until now.
I don't know.
That's what Wikipedia says about The Hunt.
Because I would say the VOD stuff has probably helped The Hunt. But it was pretty good. It's worth checking out for sure.
It's going to be your favorite Roadrunner cartoon of the year. No, it's great. I was lucky enough to see it in theaters during its brief window there, and it's way better than I thought it was going to be. So Blumhouse is still capable of putting out good films, but they just choose not to do it most of the time.
Yeah, they're batting about $150 at this point. They're
maybe.
They're well below the Mendoza line though. But
so let me ask you, Piz.
Huh?
Because my only thing was at the beginning of the film when they try and make you believe the film's going to be a feature one character and then they kill off that character, and they do that several times.
Yeah.
I'm not ruining anything, but you saw right through that, right? I mean, you had the heroine pegged because I did.
Well, it seemed because I mean the only person I recognized. Well, I mean I recognized the one. It was like the only recognizable characters. You're like, oh well, they must be the leads. Oh, I guess not. Oh, I guess not. Oh, you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean I kind of like that. Let's set these people up to be like, oh, here's your final girl, and the hero or the hero and the heroine, and then just blow their brains out 2 minutes later. I like that. But Betty Gilpin was really good in that movie. I liked her a lot. She was really good. So was Hilary Swank. Hilary Swank was really good too.
She's barely in it, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. When I didn't think Hilary Swank for that role would be good. I did love that cat fight though. That was good. That was a good cat fight.
It's you said I kind of object to the word catfight because you imagine a lot of like scratching. And
it's misogynist.
It's a full bore,
I'm sorry.
No, I don't mean it that way. I just mean it is a full bore like huge scale fight scene like you don't get it in films anymore. Mm-hmm. And you can follow the action. It's not a million cuts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff.
So.
Good stuff. My favorite.
Yeah,
my favorite part of the movie.
To bash that film, and
yeah. My favorite part of the movie. I said it in the review, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. Is when they're planning the hunt, and they pull up a picture of a black guy who's right wing, and they're like, ooh, 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 and they're like, well, wait a minute, it's racist, but we want to be inclusive though, right? So they're torn in this SJW conundrum, and I thought that was like the smartest scene in the movie. I thought.
Oh, I love this. There's poison in that. You poison the groceries? No, there's this much sugar in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's constantly little things that's just about what triggers both sides of the political debate, and it does not take a side. It's ultimately about just extremism being the bad guy.
Yeah,
and I think that's great.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it, but apparently critics are destroying the movie because Rambo just mentioned it, and somebody in my review was like, "You're the only person I've heard say anything good about this movie. It's been just getting panned by critics." So I mean,
screw the critics, man.
Yeah, there's a time and a place when you just got to say fuck them.
Yeah. And I don't know why the critics are hating The Hunt. I mean, it's maybe because the movie didn't take a side and they wanted it to take a side. That's probably why they're hating it. Yeah,
it's a solid theory.
Yeah, that's probably why they're not liking it. I did see the Black Christmas remake. This was kind of before everything kind of degraded to where we are now. I got to tell you, you know what? It wasn't as bad as the new Grudge movie.
I can't agree with that, man.
Wasn't as bad as the new Grudge movie.
I can't. It's picking the less smelly turd to me, but
they're both bad. They're both bad.
How is it compared to the Black Christmas remake from before that I didn't like?
It makes the Black Christmas remake look like one of those really good early 80s slashers that just never got a sequel. One of those sort of second tier, third tier slashers.
Wow.
It makes the first Black Christmas remake look pretty darn good. And I mean, and it's
hard to do.
Just by the fact that movie has energy and that movie has style and that movie has, I don't know. It's like they're at least trying with the Black Christmas remake. The remake, they're just like, just shoot it and let's go. It just feels so Lifetime Network, but with a slightly larger budget, and I don't know.
Piz, I gotta change. I think you're right. I really do. Now that I'm thinking about it, you remember that shot in the beginning of the Black Christmas remake when the girl gets drugged and she makes a snow angel, and I kind of like that shot. I don't care. I didn't like anything about the Grudge, so I think I'm with you. I really do. At first, I was like, damn, Piz, but I think you're right.
I think if the Black Christmas remake, the first remake, was just called something else, we'd have a different opinion of it in general, or you'd hear a different opinion of it as a strange little slasher from a time period where nothing looked like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the Grudge that came out this year, no matter what you title that piece of shit, it's not changing the reputation. It's just it's the most cliched bullshit that's been released in theaters in a long time. Now, Fantasy Island was more insulting, but Grudge is a worse film.
Well, and the thing that I mean, we've talked about this. The trailer for The Grudge it looked awesome. It's directed by Nicholas Pesh, who directed The Eyes of My Mother, which was just a brutal, haunting movie. And the Grudge remake was just one lame, telegraphed, recycled boo scare after another.
Just
over
scenes
and
after
over
scenes.
and over. Yeah.
Just scene and the next scene and the next scene.
It was the same old, I mean, just, the closet gag and, I turn the light off and in the dark there's somebody standing there and then I turn the light back on and now they're gone. Or, it's just, it was literally like they had a checklist of all the most tired, worn out boo scares that we've seen over and over again for the past 20 years. And they went through every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be a film that they made just to keep the rights in-house. They threw it together at the last minute, dumped it in early January, and we're like, however much we can get out of it, we get out of it. That's exactly what it felt like.
I'm not getting it on video. I promise you that. I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
I'll never watch it. I'll never watch it.
you're not missing anything.
Because Piz, you didn't see it in theaters, did you? You
No,
didn't see it in theaters.
No,
Piz.
but here's another thing for VOD. If it had been available on VOD for like $20 opening weekend, I probably would have paid for it because I thought the trailer looked really good, and it was directed by Nicholas Pesh.
I was hyped.
So, I don't know.
I have no desire to see either one of those movies. I just don't care.
Yeah, the Black Christmas.
Sounds like I made a wise decision by skipping, even if it comes on Amazon or something. I still won't watch them. I thought the effort behind the Black Christmas remake was honest. I liked the filmmakers. They were involved in X-Files and some other things from the 90s, and I was a fan of their work, some of the things they've done. So I was hopeful. The first one is such a classic with the way they handled the killer and how you had, a good story in there. You had, career versus motherhood, and there was, for 74, it was some pretty, with it storytelling. I mean, there was a lot of compelling characters, and I like how they kept the killer off screen, and it just seemed creepier to me. And what they did with the killer in the first remake, that just ruined it for me. I don't know. I wanted to like it. I mean, they brought back one of the characters from the first film as the house mother.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a nice nod, and I didn't hate the actors in the film. I thought they did a good job. It's just what they did with the killer and the whole sister thing. And,
I agree.
That ruined it for me. That just made it unwatchable. But from what I've heard about this new one, I'm not even gonna attempt to watch it.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Not missing much. Lauren, I challenge you to watch Black Christmas remake and do a review on your channel.
The fact that you have to say remake,
I know.
That should tell everybody.
I know.
I'll tell you what, Piz, if you send me a digital code for the film, because I'm not spending a dime on it.
I might be able to make that happen. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe. I've got a digital code here for
If not, I got you, Lauren.
Where'd that go?
Serious?
It
you
wasn't
guys just
rented.
want to see me in pain.
Oh.
At least it goes by quick. I mean, it just keeps, it's a quick, I don't even think it's an hour and a half, but it goes by quick at least.
You'd probably have to do me up like the guy in A Clockwork Orange. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to voluntarily watch it.
That's what
It'd be like Argento's opera.
We raised money for Cole to go see Batman v Superman. I think we need to raise money for Mike. Or let's do a poll here. Let's raise money for Mike to either see the Black Christmas remake or the Rise of Skywalker.
I think Rise of Skywalker. If you're going to do it,
Now Rise of Skywalker will probably be more painful because that one I'm sure that one's like 3 hours, right? Wasn't that like 3 hours?
That's a long movie.
Ooh.
Oh, let's do that one then. Let's do Skywalker.
You're an evil son of a bitch. You know that.
We'd have to, how much we got to raise here, Mike? Like $100 or what?
I don't think there is a dollar amount. I really don't. And I'm not a rich guy, so money is nice, but man, so's my sanity.
That's true. That's true.
Everybody's got a price.
Mike, I'm going to stand in solidarity with you. There's certain things that people should not be able to buy from you. If you decide to bite the bullet, that's one thing, but forced prostitution is not cool.
Exactly.
I have to say, it was pretty fun dragging Cole to see Batman versus Superman.
I remember his response was something like, every part of this movie is just wrong to me, or something like that.
Actually, sometimes I would just stop watching the movie just because I found that movie painful. So I know he, like, every part of his soul was dying as he watched it. So I was just like...
Steak sauce. Are you really without food? Because if you're really without food, are you joking or are you really without food?
Can you not get to? I know, like I have to get groceries delivered. I couldn't get them delivered for a whole week. I'm getting them tomorrow.
Dang.
But we had food and that sucks. That's true.
So if that's true, let us know.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
We gotta do something.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'd love to have Cole on the show to talk this over. Anybody else into comics?
Oh, you're gonna bring up fucking Snowflake and
Snowflake and Safe Space and the new Marvel comic series. See, we're talking.
Old Marvel comic series.
Exactly. It's an update on an old Marvel comic series. See, we're talking about how we feel kind of sorry for like Ma and Pa video store or Ma and Pa theaters, but what about these poor comic shops who are having to sell like the new Marvel stuff? Which is anybody reading that? And is anybody going to read? I forget what it's even called now. Marvel's what's it called, bro?
New Warriors.
New Warriors. Yes. New Warriors.
New Warriors has always kind of played like an edge, like in some way, but this is like the most bizarre thing because like when I saw it, like I know some people, I know at least one person who's trans, like I just don't feel like it really represents non-binary people in any fashion. It's almost like a slap in their face even. Like it's just such a bizarre thing to do. Like it's just, like I don't know who's happy about this weird set of characters that I don't know what they're going for with this.
Okay, I want to make a prediction. I want to make a prediction seriously.
Yeah.
They introduced these characters to get a lot of attention on these characters in the way they did, to kill them off to start one of their multi-arc events. That's all. This is not a legit thing.
It's very weird. Even like I think you must be right because like you guys seen the artwork for them, like
it's horrible.
So weird.
It's horrible. Yeah.
It's gotta be. It can't be real.
No, I think they're going to use it to launch something. It's like there's going to be, and what they're going to launch is probably going to be more painful, but it won't be as obvious.
What are our cast of characters again? Snowflake, Safe Space.
Snowflake, Safe Space. There's Trailblazer.
What's Trailblazer?
Trailblazer is a heavy set woman of color, and her superpower is a backpack.
Yes.
Her superpower is a backpack.
Powers be offended by everything.
So what's that? What was that movie? Jumanji, the new Jumanji. So she's got the backpack power.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Dora the Explorer, I think, is more so based on that.
There's a character. There's a character whose superpower is Google, apparently, right?
Screen time.
So, yeah, something like that. And then there's a vampire character, and his name is B negative.
I could be that.
That's kind of clever. That's kind of clever.
Well, you mentioned no. Here's how many likes the Marvel Comics New Warriors trailer has: 3,624 likes. Here's how many dislikes the trailer has: 159,788.
Surprised they kept it up and didn't reload it.
Well, it's because there's nobody working there, and the comment section is nothing but negative. So I mean,
and New Warriors was always a book for like actually like legit, like it was always kind of like a weird like underground book, but it always had really cool characters and some interesting like themes. Like they went into drug shit like before other people did and things like that. Like they, in the 90s and stuff like that. This is such a weird move. But like I don't know, like I'll be honest, like I hadn't read comics in a while. I tried to get back in the summer. Marvel put out a new X-Men series and it looked really good. And I really tried, but I couldn't get that damn thing. It's so hard. They just want you to buy it on Comixology or some shit now, right? Like they want you to go get the digital copy, and because it costs the same amount. Like it's $5.99 to buy it at a store, or it's $5.99 to buy it on an app. Man, so like there's no like discount. Like it's not like if I could go buy it for $2, maybe I'd think about it. But it's full price either way. So I tried. Like I really did. I got 2 of 5 issues or something like that from the new X-Men limited series before they launched the new stuff, and it was really, really good, but it was so hard to get. But Marvel in general, like I think I'm almost like I've always been a Marvel guy, but I'm almost like looking at the DC stuff like it's better these days. Like it's almost like they've swapped. Like Marvel's gotten completely, I don't know what they're doing these days, in my opinion. Like I'm totally out. Like it's weird.
I think in this case, you definitely have to buy the physical copy, because I can't think of a better alternate for toilet paper. With the shortage of toilet paper.
Toilet paper shortage, yeah.
If you got one of those, you're set. You're good.
Please tell me the bad guy in this new Snowflake series is like, I'm trying to open up comic issue 1, the evil Dr. Ronald Crump. and his fluffy blonde orange skin. Like,
Yeah.
please.
I mean that's
The bad
exactly
guy has to be Donald Trump.
that's exactly who the villain is. I mean, I'm sure it is.
Ronald Crump. If these people hear this, they can use that. I give them permission.
You know what? You're probably so close. What was that, Jay?
So the enemy is just a giant penis, or the bad guy, the villain.
What color is that penis?
No, that was the original Rawhead Rex.
Oh God.
Yeah. What a weird.
Well, Ryan, you might want to get these. They're gonna be collector's items. It's not gonna last long, dude.
Yeah.
Shadow box them. You know, the whole 9 yards.
I'm thinking on the wall. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking on the wall for sure.
Unfortunately, in the early '90s, I kind of got into buying comics when a lot of the Image comics and a lot of the more alternative comic boom started up. I had a signed Mr. T comic, and I had all this stuff, right? And it ended up being worth probably about the same as toilet paper. So.
Yeah.
Either way you go, there's your use right there. So I guess if you want to hoard those comics in case something else happens in the future, you'll be set. But
it takes
other than that,
80 years for a comic to be worth something. I feel like there were so many comics that, and it's funny. I had when I was a kid, I got a bunch of comics from my uncle who had bought comics in like the 70s, and I had some of like the comics that are worth the absolute most money now. And I read those things, and the covers fell off, and you know what I mean? Like looking back, like it's just like that's what they're worth to me. Like reading and rereading them so many times that like I read The Death of Gwen Stacy. I don't know how many times. I had the book. I had it. Now you can buy that thing for like 60 grand or something probably. But like I just read it until the cover fell off, and I like kept tucking it back into the cover. And it's such a weird. The market for comics is so weird.
I feel like 10 copies of The Death of Superman.
I have a lot of those too. Yeah, the cardboard covers. And I think there was one where you could cut shit out, and I cut it out. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like I had a Sleepwalker #1. I think it was that was a weird character that came out in the 90s. Super weird because he would have Spider-Man's body sometimes and like an alien head. Really weird. But like one of his issues, he had to cut the mask out. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. So like people look for that. They look to pay for that. But anyway.
Yeah, I just checked. Cameron said that our stream is not showing up in people's sub feeds apparently, or not in his sub feed. Yeah, it's not showing up in my sub feed either. But see, I've YouTube is broken, or YouTube is down was trending earlier today, and that was the problem. They were saying a lot of stuff was not showing up in people's sub feeds.
They're trying to silence us, is what they're trying to do.
Well, that could be it. Yeah. We do have 43 people watching, so. But thanks for tuning in. If you've not dropped a like on the stream, please do so. But
I don't know, it could be a bandwidth thing, because weren't they talking about Netflix was limiting bandwidth, and some of these other streaming services were doing that too?
They were trying to force Netflix to drop the SD. So that it would take up less bandwidth, because it's just choking all the networks. I was like, that's crazy.
I don't pay.
Yeah.
To watch
goddamn right.
I won't do it.
Steak Sauce says that the shutdown has killed him. He's eating barbecue sauce. That's literally all he's got. Why don't you post a PayPal in the chat, and we'll throw a few dineros your way.
Definitely.
Post your PayPal in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, there's probably a lot of people out there suffering, man.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, post your PayPal in the chat, man.
So Ryan, they won't even let you go out to get essentials. You're like locked in your house.
What happened was so it's super weird, but we actually drove up to visit my in-laws right before everything hit. So we were still in isolation, but we were up in their place, and my kid got sick, and he actually he stopped breathing. We had to get an ambulance to come in and get us and stuff like that. It was super scary, but we had no idea, but they tested him for COVID. So we got a call when we got back in town the other day, and they were like, yeah, we tested him. He's negative. Great. But they were like, but you're on quarantine, because if he gets it, he could just stop breathing because it's respiratory. So we aren't allowed to leave. Like, so we ordered groceries. We're gonna get groceries tomorrow, but we have to, like, a friend of mine dropped off coffee and Diet Pepsi the other day, like at the doorstep, things like that. But like we're told we're not to leave the house for at least 2 weeks right now, because if he were to get it through whatever means, it would just be not good. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm not chancing it. That was scary enough.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's why it's not so much like, well, actually the province is under a state of emergency. You're not allowed to be in groups of 5 people. They are trying to like keep it down, but we've only got 51 cases, I think 56 cases maybe today. And no deaths yet, thank God. But they're just trying to keep it stifled, I guess.
Let's see, what else can we talk about here? I know somebody earlier in the chat, they mentioned, and Christian, I know you're a pro wrestling fan, but this is a documentary that's so good, whether you're a pro wrestling fan or not. Vice on YouTube did a 2-part documentary about Chris Benoit. Are you guys all familiar with who Chris Benoit is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Great freaking documentaries. Great documentaries.
It was really good, man. And I'm glad, Piz, that they didn't get idiots like Dave Meltzer or nobody on there. They got the people that were close to Benoit, Chavo and Jericho and Vicky Guerrero. So they didn't taboo anything. They only got the people that really knew him to talk about what went down, which I thought was great on Vice's part, you know.
No conspiracy theories or
no. It was a hard watch, man. It was so much dread and just.
I would imagine that would be dark shit. Like I don't really follow wrestling that much, but my friends were always really into it, and I actually saw lots of Chris Benoit stuff, and I know his story, and like that would be a dark watch.
Yeah, he's a Canadian boy like you, man.
Yeah,
some of my favorites. Yeah, some of my favorites are those Canadian guys, man. Bret Hart's always gonna be my favorite, and I loved Benoit growing up, man. He was just I sat on a plane next to him. Crazy enough, back in 2000.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, me and my brother did. God, it's creepy to think about now.
Yeah. We have a pretty good local wrestling scene around here, and people that I knew through that like had interactions with Benoit, and they were always like, he's such a cool guy. And that was such a weird. Yeah.
This second season is going to be a juggernaut. They're doing Owen Hart's story when he died at Kemper Arena. They got to get these suckers that strung him up there, because I've never seen those guys talk. I want to know what happened. Like legit what happened. So that's going to be another one that's going to be just a morbid, horrible, intense watch. But you know.
Jeez.
Yeah. But the Benoit documentary was really good. I actually rewatched some of the second half of it because it was so good, and like, you know, like I remember watching the night that they aired like the big tribute, like when it was announced, like, oh, he died, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And there was the because like nobody knew like what had happened. It was just assumed that, you know, it was some sort of gas leak, or, you know, maybe somebody broke in their home and killed them. And then of course I remember the following show where Vince McMahon at the beginning of it said, you know, basically he said, we'll never talk about Chris Benoit again.
Yep.
And they've completely just they've from my understanding they've added some of his stuff back onto the network. But I mean, they've ghosted him hardcore.
Yeah, it's on the network. If you go to any pay-per-view from his run, he's on there, but his name will never be mentioned outwardly ever. So you have to just dig to find stuff about Benoit.
Yeah.
People are speculating that he had that whatever the brain trauma thing.
Yeah.
Same thing they say, like, you know, Aaron Hernandez had.
Yeah. Well, they threw out a bunch of stuff because, I mean, he had been violent to his wife in the past. It'd been documented. He had, you know, they showed text messages where she had talked to him about, you know, you've got to cut out these steroids. You're a different person, you know, blah, blah, blah.
I was going to say steroids, brain damage, and cocaine is not a good combination.
Yeah. And, I forget what they call it, but yeah, he had severe head trauma and brain damage from all of the concussions that he'd had too.
Yep.
So I mean, it was probably just a combination of a whole lot of things. And then to hear, because I mean, I'd known about what happened over the course of that weekend, but to hear it out in detail about how he killed his wife was like, that was insanely brutal of him, the way that he killed his wife. Actually, he strangled her so hard, put his knee into her back and strangled her so hard that he broke her back.
Yeah.
And then
Didn't he kill himself on the weight machine?
he killed, after he killed his son, the following day, he actually put a knife next to his son's bed, like he was going to use the knife on him.
Yeah.
But then crushed up Xanax into a drink, fed him the Xanax, and once he passed out, he smothered him to death.
Yep.
Then he spent the night with both of them dead in the house with him. And the next day he got up and he Googled, what's the fastest way to break your own neck? And the way that he chose to kill himself is just so insanely bizarre. Like, you just know that his head was not working correctly. There's a million easier ways to off yourself than to do it the way that he did it. And I don't think they talked about it on this documentary, but I'd heard before, like, there's no way that what he did broke his neck. He strangled himself to death, and it had to be a horrible way to die.
Yeah. Not to mention his neck can probably bench press more than my entire body could. I mean, he's a titan.
His neck was the size of my thigh. I mean, his neck was
He
enormous.
picked the wrong fucking way to die for sure.
Piz, I have no argument to that. His brain was horribly developed and scarred, but the guy himself was, after Eddie passing, had to have gone into such a dark, abysmal state of mind, because I've read both of Mick Foley's books. I don't care who you bring up. Nobody has taken more chair shots to the head than Mick Foley. Nobody has had more broken bones than Mick Foley. And that's the nicest guy on the planet. So I have no issue, taking into account that Benoit's brain was horrible. He probably had massive mood swings and problems from the CTE. But like Jericho said, after Eddie died, his fate was sealed. And I think that's 100% true. I really do.
Yeah.
His fate was going to be bad one way or the other after that happened.
Oh, and what's sad about it too is, they've blacklisted Nancy too. Because I mean, she had a very long career before she even got involved with him, and I mean, she was a big deal. But they've completely blackballed her because of her last name. And when they asked her sister, did anybody from WWE ever reach out to you or try and help you in any way? And he was like, "Are you serious? Of course not.
Nothing."
So
or David.
Or David. Yeah. So I mean, I feel horrible for him. He looks just like his dad too.
It's spooky.
Spitting image of his dad. Like when they showed him walking next to Nancy's sister, she doesn't really look like Nancy that much, but I mean, she looks a little bit. It was spooky. It was like watching them walk. It was just weird. It was spooky.
I was watching that pay-per-view live, Piz, that he was supposed to be on the ECW pay-per-view, because I'm open about it gotten open about it on the show, but I've been a wrestling fanatic my whole life, and we would watch every pay-per-view, and I remember, like, why is Benoit not on this ECW show tonight? And my dad was like, I don't know, maybe he died. I don't know what the hell. He never misses anything. He's always there, and it gives me a chill up my spine thinking about it, because he was dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that was a really good, just chilling, freaky documentary. Whether you're a wrestling fan or not, that would be something to check out for sure.
And they're on YouTube, so anybody can go watch it.
They're on YouTube. Yep. Yeah, very good.
I like a lot of the wrestling documentaries, like the Ric Flair one, the 30 for 30 they did on Ric Flair. The Jake the Snake, of course.
Yeah.
Good.
Steak Sauce, did you ever post your PayPal in the chat?
I was just checking. I didn't see it. Can he post links? Or?
Yeah. He could. Well, he may not want to post his.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But this craziness. What do you guys think about? I don't know if this was real or not, or is this just like a rumor that Apple was going to buy Disney? Is that for real, or was that just?
The stock was really low, and I think
I heard the rumor, but I don't know if it's real.
I can't imagine.
I mean, geez, I would think Disney could buy Apple. I wouldn't think Apple could be, but
I don't know.
Got that
Apple's riding
class
high.
action.
The
Apple's
last
got
couple
that
of-
class action going on too, right? They were slowing
Yeah.
down people's phones.
They're slowing
Bastards.
down people's phones. I mean, they got hit hard in China. They got all their production factories in Wuhan. Like they had to move to like Korea, I think. I'm surprised. I was surprised too, but I guess the stock was in such a state that it was a possibility they could buy. But at what point do they like stop and say, okay, wait a second, monopoly or something like that? Like it's at some point.
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah.
They have to prove predatory practices to get the antitrust laws involved.
Mm.
And as long as you're not stopping someone else from producing entertainment and distributing it, or you're not making it
There's
impossible.
no one else to make it though.
Well, but the problem is anyone can go out there and rent an RED camera and go out and make something. It'd be tough. If you forbade distributors that worked with you from handling anyone else's product, well, then you stepped over a line.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to get the antitrust laws on your side in the entertainment sphere.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a cat making a
Yeah,
cameo.
Penny's here. I wasn't sure if she was going to come down or not. Say hi to the folks.
Our unofficial female member of the factory.
Yeah, there we go.
There she is.
The only one who's happy about the quarantine.
Yeah, exactly. She's loving it.
Oh goodness. Anybody want to talk about anything else? I've pretty much that's all the topics I really had to discuss. Anybody anything?
Piz, do you have that Halloween 3 NECA near you? I saw your video and I was marking out. It looks beautiful.
Well, this thing,
A little sneak peek, maybe?
just the packaging on this thing is really
Oh
nice.
my
Look at
God.
the Halloween layer thing there is like raised,
Oh, that looks so good.
and you got the guys on the side, the back with the silver shamrock. Maybe just give a tease here, just a tease, because I've definitely got to dive into this for a full-on collector's corner video. But there's the little skeleton guy.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's really cool.
I'm blown away by that packaging.
It's
That's
really
beautiful.
cool. Yeah, it's beautiful stuff.
Nice.
It took long enough, but it's finally out. So thank goodness. Very beautiful. Yes. Let's see what's going on out in the chat tonight. Concrete Specials here. What's up, Concrete? Russia's Ashes. What's up, Jamie? Everybody loving the cat. Our buddy Rambo's out in the chat tonight also. He says Disney should buy the Sausage Factory. I agree. Disney, throw me a figure.
Yeah. Just as long as we all get a cut.
Yeah, throw us a figure out here.
I'd be fired the first day.
Well, they would replace Brie Larson would become moderator.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're all gone. All of you are gone.
Yeah. We're all got.
Well, the name would get changed with the first thing.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
the name would be changed immediately. Oh goodness gracious, Joe Bob
the
Tarhill.
name may be why it's not showing up in feeds right now.
That's a possibility. Yeah. Joe
Then
Bob
you can
Tarhill,
put
what's
anything about the current worldwide situation in any of the keywords that might have something else to do with it.
up? I avoid that. Trust me. Movie Man 95. What's up, Movie Man 95? Carolyn P. Hello. Salvatore Spano. How about the Andre the Giant documentary? I've not seen that one.
Ooh, I saw that. Great stuff.
Concrete
You can find
Special mentioned Concrete Special says Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Enough said.
He's a murderer too.
Yep.
Yep.
All of season 1 eps on the Vice website. Watch the Randy Savage Miss Elizabeth ep today. Very good. I loved Miss Elizabeth growing up.
Oh yeah.
Loved Elizabeth. Oh yeah, Elizabeth. My buddy Dave Vanderhoff in the chat. What's up, Dave? Cameron was here a little while ago. Jess Graham, what's up? So yeah. Anybody want to discuss anything else? Anything pressing going on in the world you guys want to talk about other than the obvious?
The Paramount Fridays are hitting Shudder in April.
Paramount Fridays, are they going to be in any kind of special transfer? Any kind of?
It's the same transfer that was on the Blues.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Blu-rays. But they're doing a big, like, Joe Bob's coming back. They're doing like a halfway to Halloween kind of extravaganza. So I think they've poised it quite nicely. I think Joe Bob's back at the end of the month. So if you were to get, like, you know, the free month in April, you'd get like one Joe Bob, and then you'd have to sub for May to get the rest of them or whatever. But and I have no idea what they're playing or anything like that. But they've got there's a bunch of stuff hitting it. A bunch of Halloweens. I don't know. There's quite they're really pushing, trying to pick up subs. I think during this time and stuff like that, and they got a lot of stuff coming up. So
they're gonna do another season of Creepshow.
They are, I think.
They better.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first one.
I did too. My buddy Jan Man's in the chat. He says there are rumors that Brie Larson will lead the next Avengers movie.
They've been trying to make that happen since the moment they put Captain Marvel in.
Yeah. That will probably happen.
Yeah, I mean, just when you saw how much they pushed that movie, and I like the movie, it's okay, but it wasn't like knockout. But just the levels they went to with that, and I was surprised she wasn't in Endgame more, to be honest. I was surprised they kind of muted her in that movie. I thought the writing was on the wall that was going to be the new captain, kind of go forward in the Marvel U, but we'll see.
I saw another good question out there. Where'd it go? I've lost it. My buddy Vanderhoff says he heard rumors last night that there's a new box for Friday the 13th. Is this true?
I've only heard about the Steelbook for the first film. I haven't heard anything about a new box.
Yeah, I think it's
because what's the current one? It's like the first 8.
No, the 10, the one that came in the metal pack.
Is that still out there though? That was
out of print?
Oh no, it's long out of print.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like,
I think you can still get the 8 film.
Yeah,
Paramount.
You can still get that one. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's pretty cheap, like $20 or something like that. That's the only set that I know that's kind of out there currently. It would be cool if somebody came out with a nice big set, but I mean, I don't know. It's such a weird space right now. Friday.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's all just rumor and speculation at this point. The only thing that's been confirmed is that Paramount Steel Pack release, but I mean, it's nothing special.
Yeah, I looked at it. I almost pre-ordered it, and then I backed out.
I pre-ordered it just because it was like $15. I was like, screw it.
If it was $15, I would pre-order.
Well, not for you. It's not $15. Zombie says, "Are you guys buying the Predator game? Anybody interested in the Predator game?"
It's only on PlayStation 4.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's at least a Sony exclusive. Maybe it's time, but I would have been all over that game.
Well, I'm sure me and Gibbs have Predator on Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
It's basically Friday the 13th the game reskinned pretty much, and you're either a Predator or you're a Marine. So hopefully it doesn't have the problems that Friday the 13th the game had.
I think it's made by a big studio. I think it'll be.
I know it's
like Gun Media who came together for that game. I think.
No, it's not Gun. It's what was the other people? I forget the other people that had a hand in Friday the 13th game. Not Gun, whatever the other company was.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They came in to kind of clean it up at the end. I think. Yeah.
Christian talked about this the other day, but Shudder keeps losing all the Joe Bob movies.
Yeah, whenever they lose the rights, I assume they get a time-framed, right to stream the movie. And if Joe Bob does one that's gone, That movie's not on Shudder. You can't watch the Joe Bob episode. Not even the clips that they filmed for those episodes, because I'm sure some people want to just watch those, right?
Yeah.
They do like in Canada, they stream it, so you get the one night, and then a lot of them don't hit Shudder Canada, like even after, because they get like the one night to stream it or something. Like it's like a live event kind of, and then that's it because they don't have the rights. Yeah,
But that's nothing new. I mean, there just wasn't a. I mean, in the original incarnations in the '90s, there just wasn't. There was never physical releases of the Joe Bob episodes, and streaming didn't exist. So I mean, there'd have to be a different sort of contract for in perpetuity having the titles available, and I just don't see any studios really tying their hands like that.
Make you think that they would do a Night of the Living Dead episode, because that certainly wouldn't go anywhere. But maybe Joe Bob doesn't feel like talking about that movie.
Well, but there you see you have a different problem with Night of the Living Dead. While it's public domain, not all transfers of the film are public domain. So if you wanted to show it in the best possible light, you're still licensing the transfer from someone. So and the idea of using some public domain DVD from 85 or 95 or whenever, that's not happening because no one wants that. It's tough. I mean, the problem with rights and these services is that it's always going to be transient. They're going to move, and if you don't, it's wonderful to blame the rights holders, but if they stick with this Joe Bob in perpetuity, that affects what they are going to be able to charge for that title in different markets, and that'll be the only way we can get it on a streaming service. And it's a nightmare, really. I'm glad we're getting what we're getting.
A lot of talk of the Predator games on Nintendo and stuff in the chat. I loved the Predator versus Alien game that was on Super Nintendo. I loved it. Yeah. I played it a lot.
There was one in the arcade that I played a lot, where you played as Hauser, but like he had like a mechanical arm and shit. He had his arm blown off, I guess, at the end of Predator, and I love that game. That game was awesome.
It was the best game on the Atari Jaguar.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was different on the Jaguar. It was a first-person shooter on the Jaguar.
I was gonna say, did it actually ever come out, or was it like a prototype thing? There was one of them.
Yeah,
there was one that was a prototype for years.
They almost made it for the 32X.
That's maybe what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but it's never come out except on. I think Capcom is going to release like a joystick with a bunch of arcade games on it. And that was on it.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's come out or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of that.
My brother made the unfortunate purchase of getting a Jaguar. And man, there were some stinkers that came out on that system, but that game was really good. You could play as the Predator, the Alien, or a Marine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I played that. I played that on PC though. Something similar to that.
I don't have a Jaguar. I have it. I found it at a Goodwill about a year ago for $5, and I have it, but I have.
That's crazy! Wow.
Yeah, it's in the box. It didn't have the manual, but it was in the box. So that was
That's awesome.
I don't think I ever played just the regular Predator game on NES. I don't think I've either messed with it.
I think he wears pink. Does he wear pink in the game?
I think he wears pink, yeah. Does he like roll grenades and shoot or something? That rings a bell for some reason.
I barely remember
it.
Did you guys see where the new Warriors writer also made a comic about Santa's boyfriend? No, I've not seen that one.
No.
Wow.
Didn't hear about that one.
Santa's boyfriend.
He's on the naughty list.
He's on the. I have seen the Brie Larson Nissan commercial. It really was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I saw that last night.
What is she as her character?
No, I think she's just driving around a car. But
yeah. I got a fun fact. Talking about the affliction that's going around right now, this is kind of a fun little side note. In the state of Georgia, They've set up a quarantine area if you have nowhere to go. They've set up 7 trailers on Hard Labor Creek State Park. And that park contains Camp Daniel Morgan. Is that familiar? Does anybody know anything about Camp Daniel Morgan?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Friday 6 was filmed.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, I joked with my wife, if I have to be quarantined, I'm going to get sent out there so tour the movie site. So
Cool.
Yeah, it's talking about how hot and humid it was, and the mosquitoes and everything.
Oh yeah, nasty. I've never been there. It's about 120 miles away from me, and it's kind of, there's nothing really around it. I can't justify a trip out there. I'm trying to figure something out to drag my wife out that way.
There is still a camp there, I do believe, because somebody,
it's still operational.
Yeah, somebody did I think it might have been an overnight there. Like a group of people did an overnight there.
Yeah, they do the viewings and do the tours. I think they have one scheduled in June or July, which we'll see if that happens. But it's still an operational camp. There's 2 camps on that state park and in that state park, and yeah, it's one of them, and it's still fully operational.
I have just posted Steak Sauce's PayPal. Apparently it won't let him post his email because I've not seen it in the chat at all. He said he's put it in the chat, but it's not showing it. But there is Steak Sauce's PayPal in the chat. So if you guys can drop him $1 or $2, it would be it'd be much appreciated.
Piz, you don't have any information on the new Texas Chainsaw supposed to be happening, do you? Haven't heard nothing about that for a while.
No, not for a while. Not since I've even forgot who's directing that. It's like 2 brothers, but I forget their names. But yeah, nothing new.
It was a Spanish gentleman, if memory serves, huh? Am I wrong?
I don't remember, to be honest. I just remember it was like 2 brothers. But no, I've not heard a thing. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else on y'all's minds? What's in Stingray Spotlight this week?
That's all I was going to bring up. I've got I'll save the best for last. I got 2 films that I saw over the weekend, last weekend, and I was pretty impressed with both of them. Freaks. Have you guys seen Freaks from 2018?
I got excited for a moment until you said 2018.
I don't think so.
I didn't even hear of Freaks from 2018.
Like it pretty much got swept under the rug. I don't know why, but it's a pretty solid film. It's kind of like a horror film, but it's got what is his name? Emil Hirsch, the guy that was in like Speed Racer and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He's he's got this kid, and come to find out that it's almost like they're mutants, like from the X-Men or something, but they're really.
Oh, I know what that. Okay, I know what that is.
Yeah, it was a really cool film. I liked it a lot. It's got Bruce Dern in it. He plays their grandfather, and they've all like got these cool powers and stuff. That was a good film. I'd recommend that. I think it's on Prime right now. It's somewhere streaming. And the other film is Crawl from Alexander Aja.
Oh, I've still not seen that. I've still not seen Crawl.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Considering what it is, giant alligator, multiple alligators.
I guess my only complaint about that flick, being a Floridian, is that the hurricane wasn't exactly what it should have been, having been through many of those experiences myself. I mean, the alligators were fine. I was just thinking, man, that's a really wimpy hurricane. I expected more, but I did like the flick. I liked the father-daughter story, and considering it was like 2 people carried the whole flick, Barry Pepper and I forget the actress's name. Yeah, it was a good flick. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I've always liked Barry Pepper and pretty much everything. It was Quentin Tarantino's favorite movie of the year, believe it or not. So,
yeah, I think I heard that somewhere.
like that for what that's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's funny is like, when I watch a lot of these, making ofs and stuff for these old horror movies. I've heard so many different people say, "Oh, well, didn't you know? April Fool's Day is Quentin Tarantino's favorite horror movie. Oh, well, didn't you know? Black Christmas is Quentin Tarantino's favorite horror movie. Well, didn't you hear? The Burning is Quentin Tarantino's favorite horror." So Quentin Tarantino has said a lot. Like Quentin Tarantino has like 35 different favorite horror movies, and everybody points it out. Oh, this is Quentin Tarantino's favorite horror movie. I've heard it on so many of these like making ofs. People saying that. It's like,
It's just
So I'm just going to repeat myself on this. I liked Crawl a lot, but The Pool from Thailand from last year is I think, the better film about a crocodilian in a confined area. The last 10 minutes of that movie took me to a place I never thought a film would ever get me. I was in absolute joy. Some people are going to be repulsed, but I was in absolute joy. And it's 360 degrees opposite from the kind of safeness that sometimes Crawl had. It gets very unsafe.
well, where can we see The Pool?
I think I don't know at the moment. I know that there was I think Hulu actually had it at one point. Let me see if I can find out real fast where it's at the moment.
I've heard that too, Borderline. A lot of vigilante revenge movies. Yeah, like what was that one? Big Bad Wolf or something. I know he raved about that one a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, that was a good film.
So yeah, he's got a lot of favorite movies.
He's a big fan of like Vanishing Point and stuff.
Oh, that's a good movie. That's a very good movie.
Didn't he like rip off a lot from Death Proof off Vanishing Point?
He liked Crawl more than he liked Crawl more than his own movie from last year. That says so. That should be on like the poster for Crawl. Better than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around alligators my whole life, and they're not nearly that aggressive at all. I mean, maybe a crocodile I could believe, but it was crazy.
I guess since they had the nest right there by the house, that would make them more aggressive. But yeah, normally alligators are pretty, unless you're swimming at night. Alligators are not really. I mean, they come up. There's parks around where you could sit there at the picnic table and they'll be out sunning themselves, and they just like ignore you're there.
Yeah.
And if you go toward them, they'll just go in the water.
Well, they're not generally going to try to attack.
They're not like great white sharks or the way that's portrayed as aggressive, or bull sharks or something.
Do you remember there was not a crocodile, but an alligator in one of the pools of water at Disney? And it supposedly came out and grabbed a child.
It was a lagoon, and and they were. If there's water in Florida, there's an alligator in it. That's just, you have to. And people assumed that because it was Disney that it was like alligator free, but alligators walk on land. It's really hard. They climb over fences. They're very mobile. For large reptiles, they're very, very mobile. And this couple had their young son out, and he was about maybe waist high in the water, and it was at dusk. And the gator just came up and snatched him and took him under. And the dad went in after him, but couldn't find him. And I guess he did scare the gator away. Unfortunately, the little boy drowned, and they found him the next day, just about 50 feet away from where his dad was looking for him. And now there's like a memorial there at that area, and they have it roped off where you can't go in the water. And it's tragic, but they're wildlife. I mean, they're night feeders.
Animals do what animals do.
Well, you guys have a big problem with like pythons and boas down there now too, right?
More around the Everglades, really. I mean, plus our new governor has stepped up the snake hunting. It used to be just every so often, but now there's guys that love to do that kind of stuff. They get those swamp billies out there and they give them so much per snake, and they just love that shit. They go out there and
watch
catch
them on
a
YouTube.
bunch of snakes.
They make a living off that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that's really helped keep the numbers down. But part of that was due to a hurricane that hit Andrew. Andrew was a hurricane that hit down there in just around Miami, Homestead. And it was a reptile building, and it had all kinds of snakes and stuff in it. Well, the building got destroyed, but the snakes escaped, and then they went into the swamp, and they multiplied.
They do so well there because, like, when they hatch out, they're already almost bigger than our native snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see videos of them fighting with the alligators, and there's they started. There's a lot of regular swamp animals that were going extinct because of these damn snakes, so they had to start going down there and hunting them. But Florida's a pretty wild place, but if you stay in the well-tread areas, you'll be fine. Just there's sharks in the ocean, people. I don't know if you knew that or not. And, and we have alligators in our water, so as long as you're mindful of these things, and alligators are way more aggressive at night than they are during the daytime. They stay down toward the bottom, or they're up sunning. And just you got to know the area and know what to expect and respect their territory. I mean, it is what it is. But if you live here, you gotta know the rules. I mean, I'm sure if you lived in Africa, they got big cats that'll eat you.
Mm-hmm.
You live in in some of the Asian countries, they got tigers that'll eat you. I mean, and big snakes. I mean, you have to understand and respect the area and know what Australia's got crocodiles, so I'm sure going swimming there is kind of not a good idea.
Everything in Australia will kill you.
You got flies that'll drink the water out of your eyes. It's crazy, but if you go somewhere, you just got to understand that there are critters other than us, and they need to be respected.
What's Gibbs got for us in the retro gaming corner?
Well, let's go back to the Old West in the early 90s and play some Sunset Riders by Konami. Based on a really sweet run and gun arcade game, and came out, of course, for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. The Super Nintendo version follows the arcade, kind of a Contra style game, and the Genesis version deviates, but they're both pretty fun, and they are collectible, which means they cost a little bit. So I'd recommend maybe emulating them or the arcade version. That's Sunset Riders.
Cool.
So let me ask you, man, do you like go to a lot of like garage sales and yard sales and stuff?
I used to. I have a lot of luck at yard sales and believe it or not, pawn shops.
Oh yeah.
These days, pawn shops, they know what stuff's worth, and they do a lot of eBaying now. So I find like McKay's, like used bookstores, or thrift shops like Goodwill are your best bet to find if you want to score something, cheap. But even like Goodwill eBay's a lot of stuff, so you just got to get lucky. But like this game, the Super Nintendo version, I found 2 copies back in the day, paid like $3 each for them, and now you'd be hard pressed to find it for $3. So yeah, but you used to do a lot of yard selling.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into it because you don't have to spend a lot of money. My problem is I don't like to get up early on the weekends.
Oh, right.
That's
how
I get out there. Everything's like sold.
Yeah.
Well,
search is the whole thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, even then, like I find like I pick up some retro stuff, and these days you kind of have to, like, if you go to a place and they've got it on the table, they've got it at a higher price. You kind of always have to walk up and be like, "Do you got any video games?" And then you got some like, "Oh yeah, I got some stuff in the box in the back." They don't really know what they got.
Right.
Kind of a thing. Like that's usually how you got to do it, because if they've got something on the table, it's marked up to whatever the eBay price is, maybe a few bucks off. It's
all sports games.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's all garbage. It's just everyone thinks they got everything that they own is of value these days, and especially video games. And then they go online and they go to something like price charting, and they see the prices that it sells for, and then they start selling for that. And it's impossible to find these games at a good price these days. It's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, and we were talking about knockoffs, and
Yes.
That's something
Yes.
you've got to keep an eye out for these days too, right?
Yeah, right.
AliExpress.
Go ahead.
AliExpress, they put out knockoffs that you can tell, like you can tell the gray on the NES cartridge isn't quite right, and the sticker's not quite right, but they play pretty well the same. And some, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's
hard to say.
scary. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm talking over you.
Oh, go ahead.
No, they've seen some that are very good. They've got, just anybody at home that has the tools can put one together. It plays. They can reproduce the boxes, the manuals. So I'm really quite leery of like high end cartridge stuff. I just pretty much won't do anything high end unless, because that's the stuff they're going to, of course, spend the time to counterfeit. So
I've got
it's dangerous.
Gibbs, I've got a brand new Cheetah Man in box, never opened. I'll sell it to you for $200. That sound reasonable?
That is a deal, sir.
Okay. My PayPal. Let me give you Steak Sauce's PayPal. It is. DJ, let me tell you something. Let's get zoomed in here, DJ. The world's a dark place. Okay. Grow up. I'm just kidding, DJ.
Wow. And now you know.
But yeah. What's attracted Lorne's scorn this week?
What hasn't? So I've made a point to walk my block twice every day. Not that I come across people, because I don't, and you can't get corona at this point off a tree. So I'm just amazed when I look. Everyone is home, but there's nothing happening with lawns or no one's cleaning up for spring. Everyone's just inside. So I figure that, like, realistically, there has to be all kinds of streaming going on everywhere. And you would think this would be an opportunity for a lot of great entertainment to get noticed, besides, the same 8 things in the office. But the opposite seems to be happening. If you turn on any of those services, you'll notice that, like, the same crap is being watched, whether people were working or not. And I find that really sad, because there's a lot of great stuff out there if you want to search a little bit deeper. I would think that this would be a time for everyone to just see those things that you've been putting off because they don't seem quite as safe, because you got the time. But like everything else, no one seems to be escaping. Everyone seems to be looking deeper into the abyss and not turning off the 24-hour news cycle and just inundating their brain with this nonsense. So what I'd suggest for everyone is, please, just turn on your favorite streaming service. Go to those titles that maybe they piqued your interest at some point, but you kind of dismissed it because, hey, I can just rewatch the Creepshow series again, or I know that if I watch Halloween 5 for the 80th time, I know what I'm getting. Just try something different. Try something that you haven't seen, something that seems bizarre. Maybe it came from a small independent production somewhere where people just pump their heart and soul into it. This is exactly the time that you need that, because you need to go someplace far away from the 24-hour news broadcast, and those creators need it too. Because they're looking at the world saying, did I waste my time? Is the clock running out on my dream? So getting these people a little bit of exposure right now might just do both of you a big favor.
There you go. Very nice.
Nice.
Goodness gracious. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any inspiring words they'd like to? Cameron's here to give us some inspiring words of encouragement and guidance. You arrived just in time.
For what, the ending?
Yep.
Take us out, sir.
Oh,
But how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. On a home lockdown for about over a week now, so it's all right. I mean, I'm kind of a homebody, so to get permission to stay home and work on a bunch of home projects is fine by me. So,
well, have you caught up on any movies or
I started that Mr. Rogers Tom Hanks movie, and it was all right. It reminds me a lot of do you remember Oh God You Devil from 1983?
Yeah.
With George Burns. It has a lot in common with that. It has, where it's about somebody else, and then Mr. Rogers is sort of the George Burns character. So and but I keep hearing all this stuff about this Tiger King show. So I'm gonna have to check this thing out. Everyone keeps talking about on Netflix, Tiger King. So, I don't know, it's some like true crime documentary that apparently, like, once it starts, your mouth drops and it doesn't let up. So
Is it Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness?
yeah, that's it.
Oh my God! Look at this dude.
About Siegfried and Roy.
I don't know. I'm getting the suspicions that like somebody kills somebody and feeds them to the tiger. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's about the life of Joseph Maldonado Passage. What a name. Joseph Maldonado Passage. Tiger King is just about everything I could have asked for, like a Carl Hyacin novel, but even weirder and much sadder. Wow.
Written by Carl Hyacin.
I don't know. I mean, the last thing on Netflix that I really liked was that if you've never seen it, the Wild Wild West or whatever. No, was it Wild Wild West or no? What was that thing about Wild Wild Country? Did you ever see that about the cult that takes over that Oregon town?
Right.
And it's amazing, and they like literally walk around with like M16s, and they took over almost the entire state of Oregon.
Wow.
This religious cult, and it's all true. And I had no idea this thing existed, but it's fascinating. So check that out, Wild Country.
They did a Forensic Files on those people. We talked about Forensic Files earlier.
I was gonna say, I remember the story.
They sprayed salad bars with forget what salmonella, I think it was.
Yeah, the town didn't want them in there, so they started sneaking into restaurants and trying to kill the whole town. They poisoned the water supply of the whole town.
That sounds like some Children of the Corn stuff.
Well, I think they were trying to get their people voted in so they could maybe have more control of the.
Yeah, they wanted to take it up.
Like a day or something.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the best documentaries you'll ever watch on Netflix. And it's one of those things where it's like you put it on, go, like, oh, check it out, and then you watch all 4 hours. So,
wow.
Yeah. But, yeah, I've just been keeping busy. I haven't, like, watched a lot of stuff, but I am planning on catching up on some stuff. Apparently, the Warner Brother Archive did a sale the other day, and they only kept it up for like 2 hours until they realized that it's a non-essential business, so they couldn't ship out. So if you got your order in before they stopped it, your order is going to be delivered. But otherwise, they canceled it. So
wow.
But I'm very sad to hear about Stuart Gordon. He was always. I mean, I met him a couple times. He seemed like everyone's grandpa, he was the nicest guy. He always had Barbara Crampton on his arm, so you can't go wrong with that. So, every time I remember talking to him, just like saying, "Hey, were you surprised, or did they have to ask your permission to talk about Reanimator and American Beauty?" Because I was shocked when I went to see American Beauty and they started talking about Reanimator in that movie. And he goes, "No, I just." He said he just went to see it. People had told him that they had talked about the movie. So, as Reanimator's mentioned in a film that won Best Picture. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that definitely brought some new viewers to Reanimator, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, but Stuart Gordon was always the nicest guy. And I think that he's one of those guys where I think he probably should have had a better career than he did, even though the movies he did are good. I think he wanted to go the way of David Mamet. And he should have probably gone the way of David Mamet, but he did Reanimator and From Beyond, which then pigeonholed him in the 80s to doing like horror stuff. But he started getting out of that in the last, like in the 2000s with Edmund, which is a David Mamet movie, and then and Stuck, right? So he started getting out of that robot jocks type of thing. So, but he was always super nice. I'm sure you guys have met him too before, and I don't think there's like Romero. I don't think there's anybody who has an unkind thing to say about him.
I never had the chance to meet him, but yeah, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him. So
no, that's why he kept having the same people work with him over and over again. you know, because they all loved him. And that Edgar Allan Poe thing he did for Masters of Horror is excellent. If you've not checked that out, it was in season 2 of Masters of Horror, with Jeffrey Combs playing Edgar Allan Poe. It's like really good.
I've not seen it. I should check it out.
Yeah, but yeah, he started doing. I think he just got stuck doing all the H.P. Lovecraft stuff because it was, you know, easy for him to get financing for that. But I know he probably would have rather been doing some more, because he came out of Chicago and, you know, with David Mamet and all that, so they were all friends, and you know, but
Did you guys see Robot Jocks?
Which one?
I've not seen
Robot
it.
Jocks?
Robot Jocks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember that being a pretty big film when it came out.
And I've never seen Space Truckers. I remember the video box for it with Dennis Hopper. But yeah, no, I mean, I hope that people. It's a shame, you know, when I see people that pass away. I mean, it always so sad because, you know, it makes you go, oh, I wish that person could have done more. But I mean, maybe we'll start getting some Stuart Gordon, like, actual special edition retrospectives now and that kind of thing. Usually it's what happens.
Yeah.
So, but the last thing the world needs is another Reanimator release. So please don't do that.
That's true. That's true. But I guess we can go ahead and call it a night then. We have talked about a number of things. And hopefully we were, you know, some entertainment to, you know, I hope we were just entertaining, you know? Go ahead.
Yeah, get your mind off the crap that's going on. And I wanted to echo something that Lauren said. It's like, you know, don't just worry about your physical health, worry about your mental and emotional health too. You know, don't allow this stuff to like scare you to the point where you can't function. It's good to pay attention to what's going on in your area and know what the requirements are and know what's going on. But, you know, you got to get your head out of the news cycle for the most part and just, you know, pay attention to some things that make you feel happy. And, you know, and if you're doing good, then you're doing good, you know, and concentrate on that. And, you know, hopefully we can get through this quicker rather than, you know, later.
And to piggyback on that, do yourself a favor and call around the people that you care about in your life and make sure everyone's okay. You know, the steak sauce situation, for instance, is a great example. There's people out there who probably need some help right now, but are probably not going to ask for it because they see how bad things are everywhere. We're going to have to look to help out people. Please help your neighbors, help your family, help your friends. If you love people, do something for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Wise words from the professor. It's been so long, I've forgotten. The professor had his own segment too. I totally forgot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, wise words with the professor. And yeah, very good sentiment. Exactly. Call the people that you care about. Keep in touch with them. Check in on them. Make sure that they're doing good. And help out if you can.
You could call you know, local elderly places and see if they need anything, you know, because they're having a lot of problems with nursing homes. Mm-hmm. You know, you could call some local churches and see if they know shut-ins that need somebody to bring them some groceries or something, because you know, there's a lot of people at a certain age range that they're just scared to go outside, but yet they might need somebody to go pick something up for them. So if you're able to do something like that, even if you don't have any money, I mean, you could still go to the store and pick up something for somebody and take it to their house, and that's still going to help.
Yeah,
don't feel like if you don't have money, you still can't help.
Yeah. I saw some folks on Facebook posting that, you know, if you needed somebody to go pick up groceries for you, you know, just give me a holler. So there's people out there trying to help. If you need help, you know, reach out, ask for help.
And a lot of grocery stores will deliver to your door.
Yes, a number of them will. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of pharmacies will too. You know, I know a lot of people are surviving off of delivery pizza and, you know, whatever Grubhub will deliver, you know what I mean? Yeah. So,
man, if you're looking for work, you know, maybe they need some delivery people or they need some help, you know,
exactly.
So you can earn a little extra money and help people at the same time.
Exactly.
Kind of a win-win.
Yeah, like we were saying, I think Mike mentioned it earlier tonight, Walmart, dollar stores, you know, they're looking for employees. So.
If I could just put in 2 cents. I wish that everybody working right now, whether you be in a grocery store or the post office, whatever, I really wish they were all getting hazard pay, because they're right there dealing with everybody's cash, everybody's credit cards. People are so dumb, they don't even know how to hit the right buttons. So the cash register person says, "Here, hit the green button." Okay, good. I mean, so they're right there in everybody's face. Everybody's coughing, everybody's sneezing right in front of them, and they still have to show up to work every day. So I wish they were getting like time and a half, double pay for every hour.
Yeah,
they deserve it. They deserve
nice
Places
to,
are,
you know.
yeah, they definitely deserve it. Some places are. My grocery store is paying them extra. I think it's like 15% on top, and they put up plexiglass windows and stuff. They are. You got to watch out. These are your people, man. Like, these are your people that are going to get you through it. You got to eat. It's the people that are on the front lines, man, and the healthcare professionals too. My hat's off to all them. It's a trying time, and I just think we just got to stick it out. We'll get through it.
I mean,
see each other on the other side.
I hate to. I mean, I'm a very optimistic person, but we are still at the beginning of this. We have no idea where this is going to go. So hang in there.
The
exactly.
cat, she's back. What he's talking about her. There you go. Be happy. There's lots to look forward to.
That's the cat's words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks eBoogie. Yeah, eBoogie, we're not going to be able to help crowdfund your needs, unfortunately. But eBoogie, Steak Sauce, Rush's Ashes, Carolyn P, Zombie, DJ Donnelly, Borderline 11, Jamie. I believe Jamie took off. Joe Bob Tar Heel, Concrete Special. Thank you guys for tuning in. Dave Vines, thank you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thank all of you guys on the panel for hanging out and shooting the bull, talking about this and that and the other. So yes, we'll return next week to hopefully entertain you guys some more for a couple of hours at least, maybe with a topic, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But all right, have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, peace.